Fuel's regular season is coming to a close within the next few weeks. It's round 8 of 10 before we begin our Fuel finals and eliminate drivers en route to crowning a champion. As the intensity rises, we head to a short track in Virginia. Richmond Raceway is the perfect place to start rivalries between drivers and the perfect place to end them. If drivers can avoid the drama and make it out of Richmond alive, they'll move on to Talladega next week with little to worry about. For those on the bubble around 12th in points, nothing short of victory will guarantee anything in the coming weeks. Round 8 of the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series begins now. 200 laps around this 3/4 mile racetrack, Vinian. Tonight, we go short track racing after Kentucky last week, and Jeff Ward, the first non-Toyota to win this season, and his Ford Mustang took the victory. What are the chances he goes 2 for 2 this week at Richmond?
I think it's a pretty solid shot. He's a pretty fast guy, and especially at some of the short tracks, has been some of his better finishes. We'll see it, or at least has had better pace at them. So we'll see what this 89's got tonight.
On track for qualifying right now, a couple of drivers already laid down times, and one of them, Thomas Bresci in the 24, has a provisional pole right now, a 20.013. We've been expecting this 24 to be running better and better as the season's gone on. He hasn't run badly, but I don't think he's been quite as close to the top as he was last season, as Jeff Ward goes quicker in his number 89. Casey Gladys in the SimTV number 50 comes around to finish his second of 2 laps here this evening. Across the line, it will be an improvement of 20.196. Will be good enough to stay exactly where he is and get actually bumped down as another driver goes up quicker than him. All right, Anthony DeBarro in the 27. He's won 3 times this season, Finian. If he wins 2 of the next 3 races, he could win half of the regular season. He's leading the points by 220 over Jeff Ward. I mean, it's been an all-out domination fest for the 27.
And to put that into context, considering these guys are running a uni point system, they're running based off V8 supercars in Australia. He's basically leading by 2 complete races over Jeff Ward, and that's finishing in first and not including the bonus points. But that's such a phenomenal feat. As you see, whoa, 58 taps the wall coming out the corner.
Well, he went quickest before he did that. He was extremely quick in practice as well. So Riley Thompson takes provisional pole with a 19.954, and we'll see if it's good enough to hang on. Here's a look at your points picture. 12 drivers making it into the Fuel finals right now. Phineas, so that means Casey Shue is one on the chopping block. 12 points separate him between Robert Hall. Hall is not eligible as Anthony DeBarro just goes quickest, and he logs the pole by a couple hundredths of a second over Thompson.
Still a lot of guys yet to put a qualifying lap down. Notable names too. Greg Evans, he's rolling out on the track, as well as Timothy Johnson.
Yeah, Greg Evans running a new livery this week in that number 46 car. He's been trying out a couple different paint schemes. T-Rex tape on the side of that car today.
Didn't he have T-Rex tape?
I don't think he might. Not in this color scheme, but you might be. I mean, he usually runs a duct tape car. We're running a couple different branded adhesive strip liveries this season. He comes across the line to start his lap. Richmond Raceway, Finney, tell me about it. Why is this place so challenging?
It really is due to the lack of banking. I mean, a lot of the other short tracks we go to, there's a decent amount of work with, but this is very similar to Martinsville in that there's pretty much next to none going around this place. So passing is going to be pretty hard to do without any banking to use. Guys might have to be a little bit aggressive to get it done tonight, especially on older tires once that aero starts to play into effect.
Second quick for the 46, a 19.932, only off by 0.003 of a second. Nick Cohan looks like he's waiting to go, and there he is with 58 seconds left in qualifying. He'll have enough time for a lap. We'll see if he can log the quickest one. We'll ride on board here on the gyro cam.
Yeah, it's all he needs, although can't afford to make a mistake because he waited so long, so if he does, he's going to be starting in the back of the pack, as many drivers are starting to log their final laps in.
He's only going to get a chance to log 1, as he's going to be a couple seconds short of getting 2 full laps in. So this is going to be the only shot he has at getting the pole down through turn 1, get it right to that yellow line. He's about a half a lane off. It looks like he's actually having some connection issues. Out of turn 2, right up to the wall, short back straight away before jumping on the brakes for turn 3. And loose, he's going to slide the racetrack, and this is not going to be a pole run, though. It should be still a half-decent lap as he comes across the line.
Looks pretty fast, though.
20.028, it'll only be good enough for 10th.
And he's only a 10th behind in the timesheets, but that could be probably due mostly to his slip up out of turn 3.
Alec Martinez comes on through for his second lap. Will he improve from a 20.025? No, he will not. So pole for this race will be Anthony DeBarro. No surprises there. Let's head down to the racetrack for 200 laps tonight around Richmond Raceway. 3 races until the Fuel finals begin. We have Talladega next week and then USA Speedway to finish off the regular season. So 2 big wild cards coming up. Talladega, that's pretty self-explanatory. USA Speedway, we did that the first season of the Fuel Cup Series, and that went Interestingly, I think it was a pretty decent race, but there was definitely some carnage, so I don't think you can walk into USA feeling confident.
Yeah, definitely can, although these guys have definitely shown that they can put on a really clean show, especially after last week going completely green all the way. And I think tonight, too, should be a fairly decent race as far as cautions are concerned, so I think this will be a fairly good indicator of what to expect at USA.
Couple drivers with new liveries on board the cars this week. The 24 Thomas Bressi is one of them, a Thrustmaster scheme.
Yeah,
and,
I like that.
He was debating whether to use yellow or black numbers. I think the black was a decent choice. I think the yellow might have been a little bit too out there, but starting.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely look better in the night with
Absolutely.
the black numbers.
All right, so let's run through our starting lineup here tonight. On the front row, Anthony DeMarro from New Jersey, alongside Greg Evans, the first season champion of the Fuel Cup Series. Has only visited victory lane once since that championship. We'll see if he can get another one tonight.
Moving back to row 2 after a fantastic qualifying effort from Riley Thompson, he'll start in third on the inside. Outside him, Brandon Key in the 22.
Starting strong in effort fourth from Brandon Key. A great qualifying effort in that 22. Hayden Pistorius, the teammate to the 58 car, he starts in fifth alongside Jeff Ward in that number 89. He'll be on the outside of row number 3.
Back in row 4 and 7, they're going to have Thomas Bressi on the inside row in the 24. Outside of him, Thomas George in the 9. He's going to be starting in 8th.
Moving on back to row number 5, Alec Martinez in the number 54 Sim Motorsports Toyota Camry alongside the 21 of Nick Cohan, who, again, really didn't get a strong qualifying effort and waited maybe a touch too long, but he'll be starting in 10th. Dane Ewing will be 11th alongside Timothy Johnston in the number 28. Johnston won back at Daytona, has not visited victory lane since then. I think he's long overdue for another win, but did not take the grid for this race, unfortunately, so he will not actually be starting in the position that he logged for the starting position. That's going to be a challenge for him tonight to make up any laps he loses due to missing the start. Calvin Filarski also going to miss the start of this race as we begin to roll off for our pace laps here.
Everyone out and rolling underway.
So a couple pace laps around here. Favorites tonight, it's always, you can never count out Anthony DeMarro. It's like watching Kyle Busch in the Xfinity Series, just so dominant every single week. Casey Lakatos back in 20th. We mentioned last week that he wasn't really having the best of runs. And he always ends up running kind of moderately, and then you just, by the end of the race, finds himself inside the top 10. So don't count him out either. He'll play some strategy for sure tonight. Zach Buchanan starting about mid-pack there in that number 40. Hasn't really had a spectacular season so far. Maybe looking for an improvement here tonight, but still rolling through turns 3 and 4. We should have 2 pace laps around here tonight. So 200 laps on tap. It'll be about an hour and 6 minutes start to finish. We went caution-free last week at Kentucky. The chances we do that again tonight.
I mean, I think they're pretty high. I think we're definitely gonna, I feel like though we're definitely going to get at least maybe 2 or 3. I think that's just typical for Richmond, and regardless of who's in the field, just being a short track, you're bound to get some sort of yellows. So I think we'll get a few, but I think they'll be in the low number, and I hope these guys don't prove me wrong.
All right, so the Outsider Racing League, they took on Iowa last weekend, and that track is very similar in style. I saw a very interesting race on Saturday night. We'll see what Fuel can do at a 3/4-mile racetrack on a Tuesday night.
I doubt they're going to be going 3 wide row by row into the corners here. But, you know, you never know. I wasn't expecting at Iowa, so we could be in for a treat here.
Serious Racing Series brought to you by Mission 22, the war against veteran suicide, as we get to go racing 200 laps tonight in the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series. Green flag flies, and we're racing in round 8 of 10 in the regular season in the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series.
Down to turn 1, the first few rows getting single filed out. Brandon Keith fighting on that outside lane.
Right now, the first couple laps, the goal is just to not get yourself into trouble. There's the 24, Bressi on the inside, trying to work over the 9 of Thomas George. And he'll get that spot. Brandon Key in the 22 mentioned how strong of a starting position he had. We'll see if he can hang on to it, but not going the right direction here early.
Yeah, he's being caught on that outside lane. Definitely think that's not going to be viable on this opening run. You're going to pretty much want to be on the inside. You see Thomas George now having his way with the 22, and also Nick Cohan.
Yeah, so Cohan, again, qualified 10th. Wasn't a strong run for him. He's going to have to work really hard tonight to overcome that and get all the way up to his teammate DeBarro, who's currently leading the race. He's won 3 of the 6 or 7 races we've done so far this season, so DeBarro's been dominant. His teammates have each won races, but not quite as successful as that 27 car. So the 22 going backwards early. Right behind, that's Christopher Matthews in that 92, a new livery on board that car this week. And MilitaryMotorsports.com is the 40 car Buchanan goes around the inside of him.
Buchanan moving up another spot.
Up the racetrack, there's Shane Ewing in the 32, who always seems to run around this 54. These two are like two peas in a pod when it comes to running on the racetrack. And we even talked to Alec this week. He said he gets annoyed running around that 32 car. Not because, I mean, he's a good race car driver, but he's just always annoyed that he sees the same car every single week. They're just so matched evenly on pace. For second place, though, Riley Thompson at 58. He's actually starting to put some pressure on Greg Evans.
Yeah, this could be really big for Thompson to get himself into the playoffs here. Get a nice win, get some points to his name.
Again, if you win a race, you lock yourself in. And Riley Thompson right now not even in the top 16 in the points. So if he were to get in and win a race, then he would be all set and wouldn't have to worry about the points picture. But right now,
he's back in 28th.
Yeah, so he's basically got to win a race. And I think he's actually made the requirements to participate in the playoffs. But Greg Evans just let Riley Thompson on by. And Thompson was almost as quick as our leader last time through.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see him. And even to Hayden Pistorius, his teammate in the 19, different make, but same paint schemes on those cars.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this because these drivers are very talented. We know that. And they typically run, 7th through 10th, but tonight they certainly got something different under the hoods of these race cars. They're looking really good out there. They must have gotten some extra practice in this week or something because they are flying right now. Last time through, Thompson was actually quicker than the leader, DeBarro, so 0.6 of a second between DeBarro and Thompson, but that 58 car is coming. And here comes Jeff Ward on the 19. Now Ward, last week's winner from Kentucky, led a huge portion of that race after that first pit stop sequence and essentially just drove off into the sunset with it. Nine laps complete here early in the going. So far, so good. The field getting spread out relatively quickly. Talk to me. Whoa, you see the 89 get loose out of turn 4. Talk to me about making passes around here. Why is it trickier with this package than it used to be?
I think it's really just due to these guys running in some dirty air. You wouldn't think at a track where they're going relatively slow like this through the corners that it wouldn't be a big factor, but indeed it is. I mean, they're still carrying a decent amount of speed. They're not going really much lower than 100 miles an hour. Which is still enough to affect the cornering speed for these guys. Have to back out of the gas. It's going to be hard to make a pass. Speaking of which, here comes Cohen to the inside of Jeff Ward.
Yeah, Cohen up 4 spots from his 10th place starting position. Thomas Bresci, he actually started the night, I believe, in 7th, so he's up 2 spots as well. But that 21 car is lurking and coming fast.
Yeah, you can see he's running out of the air of the 24, trying to get a better run through the corner.
And as the night moves on, we're going to get more grip in the racetrack. Take a look at our track conditions. It's 86 degrees right now on the racing surface, but only 77 ambient temperature. So that tells me this track's going to cool down and grip up, especially as we lay down some rubber in the racing line.
Yeah, actually, it looks like the lights have started turned on for these guys, so it's only a matter of time before the track starts cooling down with the sun sets.
Lights are on as here goes DeBarro. Riley Thompson in 0.6 of a second behind. And now Nick Cohan beginning to work over Thomas Bresci. This will be a battle for 5th.
See, making a charge to the inside. Bresci giving the lane, though.
Well, Bresci last week, remember how hard he fought everybody at Kentucky? He was driving extremely hard, trying to hang on to every spot that he could because he knew how important track position was, and he's doing that again tonight.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of Kentucky, both the 24 and the 21 had internet issues and lost connection to the race, and they both ended up retiring. So it's a big hitting point for both these guys, but they have definitely enough pace to make up for that poor finish.
Yeah, Cohan tried to get a big run off the corner, and the 24 came up to block, so these two will continue their fight as the 21 looks around the outside. And it's a strange circumstance for me, and I never remember the outside at Richmond really being effective until the Gen 6 car came along, and now it seems to be effective, but the 21 actually running the 24 up the racetrack in 3 and 4, maybe a bit of contact between the two. Cohan not willing to wait around.
He wants to get on going, trying to get past his 24, can't find a line yet. You see him trying to get a better run on corner exit than the 24 of Bresci, as both of them are catching Hayden Pistorius.
Wasn't able to get the run done. Meanwhile, for second place, the 46 is coming on back to the 58, and curious if he'll return the favor, letting the 46 back by. And it looks like he will. So these two playing very nicely up in second right now. Now, not playing so nicely. Thomas Bresci and Nick Cohan, both racing extremely hard. Taking a look at the points, Bresci currently 4th. He's actually ahead of Nick Cohan in the points, which if you had told me it was the other way around, I would have believed you. But this is essentially where Bresci ran points-wise last season, but was never able to get that first victory. He's still winless in the Fuel Cup Series, and he's been so close so many times. I think he's got to play some more aggressive strategies if he wants to have anything for DeBarro and the like.
Yeah, he's had a top 5 car, definitely a top 10 car, but he's had a top 5 car quite a few weeks, which is not enough to win. As he's going now work to the outside of 24.
Yeah, he's going to work around the outside lane down into turn number 1. pull even with him and out of the exit of turn 2. He should have plenty of momentum to clear him, and he does. And he'll drive off hard into turn 3. See the brake rotor's already glowing on the 21. We always talk about brake rotors. See the 62 will go way up out of the groove. We always talk about the brake rotors here because you use them quite heavily, and it's very clear to me which drivers are using up their equipment and which ones are not. And it's not necessarily a great indicator of how hard they're driving, but it's clear to me that if you're using a lot of brake, like you see the 21 using, you could be burning up your tires a little quicker than everybody else. Oh, and Pistori is struggling a little bit with internet connectivity issues. We saw last week the server itself had plenty of issues that dumped a bunch of people out of the server, so keeping an eye on that situation. Brandon Key down to 12th place. This has been a slide backwards from his 4th starting spot. Yeah,
really unfortunate, too. He's dropped out of the top 10 and looks like he's continuing to drop. It was amazing because he made his first start last week at Dover. Wasn't the best of runs of the 22. Actually had problems before the green flag even dropped. When he was getting up to speed, was involved in that incident at the start of the race. So, sorry, 2 weeks ago. But yeah, hopefully he can turn this around because he definitely had pace because he qualified in 4th. So.
Oh, the 8-car Woody Mahan goes around, spins in turn 3, hard impact into the barrier. That's Tyler Hensley in it as well. And that was whoa! The 25 just drills the man. And Marshall Stanley absolutely obliterates the number 8. Wow. Let's go back and see how that started. I think I have a hunch. I think the 44 got him down the inside here. Here's a look from up above. Just drove in way deep and just turned the 8-car around. Caution's out. Been out for a while. The 25 car, just unsighted, just flies in there, Finian. And you know, that's a check your relative box moment, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think so, especially too, I mean, you have a bunch of cars up ahead of you to watch, kind of where the wreck's happening. And
caution's out here. Smoke. I guess he was already kind of committed to the upper. Yeah, looking here, it doesn't look quite as bad, but wow, big impact there. Broadsides the 8-car, and Woody Mahan, a victim in this one here. He was just driving along all on his own. And the 44 just misses the braking point and drives in too deep and gets in the side of the 8. And clearly didn't mean to do that because he got himself caught up in that mess as well. So both those cars going to be significantly damaged. The 8-car probably done for the night as we get our first caution on lap number 24 of the night. And most of the field, actually all the field, down on pit lane with the exception of Christopher Matthews, who may be staying out just to grab a point. You take a look here. I could have sworn Matthews was around here somewhere. But keeping an eye on the 12th position, Casey Shue is currently the one that could transfer in here to the Fuel Finals, but Robert Hall, again, is ineligible, so Hayden Pistorius would be the next closest guy in that number 19 car as he rolls off the pit lane, currently scored an 8th spot. Pistorius has something to race for, and he's definitely going to race for it tonight. So our first caution out on lap number 24. We've gone 25 laps without an incident. Casey Lakatos is going to stay out and grab a point in his number 50. You see right in front, that's Timothy Johnson, who is now 6 laps down, taking a wave around here.
Yeah, I think he missed the start. No, that's unfortunate because he's definitely another driver that's got a lot of pace. And it's going to take a while to make up those 6 laps. So I mean,
possible. Stick to it. I mean, you could get him back.
It's definitely possible. The problem is, he's not going to be the first car a lap down, and it's quite a lot to make us. He's going to have to hope for quite a few quick. He's going to pretty much have to hope that this race goes yellow quite a bit. Which I don't think it will, but you never know with these things.
Well, again, if we take a look at the points, I keep bringing this graphic up, but we take a look at Timothy Johnson's points picture. He's pretty safe when it comes to the Fuel Finals, and because he's already in, he won at Daytona, but that doesn't mean that you can just hang out for the rest of the season. You've got to get yourself really acclimated to winning because you're going to need to do it when we get to the finals. It's only 5 rounds, and if you're not winning races, you're not going to win the championship. So for the 28, he won Daytona, but being complicit for the rest of the season and not being able to make race starts is certainly going to hurt you.
Yeah, and he's also missing out, too, from getting bonus points. Because the guys get 10 points, 10 bonus points for the finals for every win. So DeBar is looking like he's going to have 30 coming his way if he doesn't win another race, which I highly doubt considering the pace that he's had and also the pace he has tonight.
Yeah, DeBarro again has been the class of the field all season long, was the class of the field last season as well. Currently has led every single green flag lap we've run tonight and will reassume the lead as there's Calvin Filarski, who is 14 laps now. Filarski has not really been able to start races on time this year. He's been late to a bunch of them, has been at the rear for a bunch of them, so not sure what's going on with Filarski, but Really hasn't been a great start to the season. John Wilco in the 62 is getting service, but I think he's back on the lead lap, or now it'll be one lap down. Marshall Stanley, Woody Mahan, both retired out of this race. Only one other driver currently not on the racetrack that is in the server. That's Travis McQuistion. And he did start the race, but is now 17 laps down out for the night. So it's a lane selection for the outside for Anthony DeBarro in the 27. He'll have Greg Evans to the inside of him, Nick Cohan, Riley Thompson in row number 2. I like where Thompson is here on the inside. He's got his teammate lined up behind him, so there'll be no funny business. As the race moves on, the restarts will be getting pretty interesting heading down into turn 1. Might see some people try to make it 3 wide. Thomas Bressi will restart in position number 6.
Yeah, it really depends on how desperate you are, and I can imagine that 58 and the 19 pretty desperate with the position they have. Green flag back in the air. The teammates get a fantastic start over to Greg Evans.
Yeah, Nick Cohan really took advantage of that, launches himself into second place off into turn number 1. Looks like Riley Thompson's being swarmed by Thomas Bressi. To the outside goes the 24. Can't quite get the run to fill the hole. The 58 will come over in front of him. Meanwhile, behind, the 19 of Pistorius on the inside, Thomas George on the outside, all battling for 4th spot.
Well, there might have been some contact between 19 and 24 if slight. Pistorius leaning to the inside, and Thomas Bressi can't get it done. Thomas George to the outside of the 19. And Ewing and Martinez continue to go at him behind.
Whoa, car around! Oh, we got a car spinning towards the rear. It's Norm Pelletier in the 56. He spun around in turn number 1. There was almost a crash at the front of the field with the 46 of Evans. We'll have to go back and take a look at both of these incidents. But you know who's smiling right now is Timothy Johnson. He's not going to get a free pass, but he can certainly take another wave around if these guys come.
He might have. Actually, no, I think he should get the free pass because Will goes in the pits.
So here's a look at the incident. This is the 0 of Sam.
Just got loose on entry.
I guess he didn't look and go back, and I wasn't looking at it, so I got to go back again.
He's coming to the corner, coming to the braking zone.
Just got in and just got loose. I think he saw the 0 car to the inside, maybe just juked right for half a second and just barely hit the wall. But I also wanted to go back and take a look at Greg Evans at the exit of turn 2. I think there might have been an issue here. Got really loose.
He's kind of looking at that caution came out because he didn't really lose that many spots, lost 2. But could have been worse.
Well, now the problem for the 2 leaders, the teammates, is they can't line up, right behind each other, so they're going to be spread out next to each other instead.
Well, I mean, at least they'll be controlling both rows, so I mean they'll still have a decent advantage. Probably not as much as what they had on that last restart, though.
So second caution out on lap number 32 of 200 here tonight. And pit road is being attended to by a couple drivers. Will Roberts, Casey Lakatos, the 4 of AC Shu as well. Norm Pelletier, Steve Herring, a couple other drivers coming down for service as well. There's Kyle Brooks in the 71 will roll off. Remember Will Roberts back at the beginning of the season, almost won at Michigan. He's had a couple really solid runs in this Target number 39 Camry. I'm not expecting Richmond to be a place where he'll perform particularly well, but when we get on next week to Talladega and certainly USA Speedway, he's had a lot of practice there, given that he's one of the only people that will run Cup at USA Speedway.
Yeah, and he's currently 18th in the points. He's got a few ways to go to make up some points. Tonight, if he can get a decent finish, Dega also could be a good place for him to try to make up quite a few points, or even get a win to lock himself in.
Thomas George, I love this livery, the Sirius XM paint. The blue on this is
I'm waiting for full-on lights to be beaming down on that car because it's going to look really pretty.
It does. And of course, we already highlighted the 24's new livery this week, the Thrustmaster scheme on that car. It's a really solid-looking paint scheme, just very simple and clean. Vic Bloom running a new scheme this week.
Yeah, the 99. What is that? M Sport Evaluation Center on that car.
Brandon Key, of course, with I really dig this scheme. For something about this scheme just does it for me. It's real simple. Really enjoy this. Filip Radojcic in the 14. He's back this week in the 14 Vespa car.
It's a cool looking car.
Yeah, it's based on, I think it's an, I'm trying to remember where I've seen this paint scheme. I think it's an SHR based scheme.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's Suarez's, but, or no, maybe it's, I don't remember who has it. But someone's got, I think it might be Suarez's scheme, but inverted with the different colors.
Yeah, one thing I just noticed looking at the points is that Thomas George is in 16th.
Yeah, who would have expected that? He won races last season, and so Thomas George, as good as the car looks, he has not had a great season.
He didn't miss one race, so that's kind of why, that's part of the reason he's down so far down there. But I'm trying to get the pull up a stat, the internet it's not wanting to work, at least the Wi-Fi is not wanting to work. But yeah, it's not been as good of a season as it probably should be. Because I mean, every time we put the camera on him, he's somewhere in the top 10, and even sometimes in the top 5 too. So yeah, hopefully he can turn his hopes around. Because it would suck to not have him. Because he's definitely a really quality driver and a really fast driver.
Absolutely, and championship capable. I believe he was one of the final 4 last season. Going into Homestead, and ultimately did not win the championship there. It was Anthony DeMauro that walked home with him.
This kind of reveals the story here. His last 6 finishes this season: 38, 33, 4, 37, 23, 4.
So not great.
Yeah, it's not been consistent. I mean, the races that he's done, actually the races he's finished 4th. The other ones he didn't finish. That's kind of why. But yeah, hopefully he can get a good run out of this.
All right, coming back to the restart, lap number 36. Green flag back in the air. DeBarro and Cohan fire off. They're trying to get clear of the rest of the field so they can pull down and regain control of this. But Cohan fighting for the middle of the corner. He'll probably give this up to the 27 on exit, and he does. Riley Thompson squeezes in the outside lane right behind the 46. A bit of a scramble behind him.
Guys making moves to the inside of turn 3 and even to the outside of turn 3 to see
Jeff Buchanan was wheeling it on turn 4. Had the thing all sorts of sideways, had it collected, and he's now side by side, or actually clear of the 99 and the 14 of Radojcic.
Yeah, now I'm going to set his sights on Alec Martinez up ahead, as well as Shane Ewing, and those guys have been side by side since the drop of the green flag.
And the 14's paint scheme is actually based off of one of Brad Kozlowski's paint scheme.
Oh.
Which, now that I told that makes perfect sense to me. I knew it was on a Ford, I just didn't remember what Ford it was. Look at this battle. Cohan scrapes the fence out of turn 2. Here comes Greg Evans down the inside. This is for second.
It's going to interrupt the teammate dynamic that's been going on between 27 and 21. They've been very good to each other so far this race. Evans trying to disrupt that.
And Riley Thompson following behind. Which line will he choose? High or low? And Greg Evans, look at the drive he gets off the... Ooh, he slipped there on exit, but he's got a ton of drive off the exit of turn 2. Was almost able to capitalize. Bresci now taking a look at 4th place Riley Thompson. 24's got a lot of speed tonight as well.
Yeah, 58's been rocking that higher lane a little bit. It's been opening the door from the inside for Bresci, and Bresci's going to have a look down into turn 1. Going to be side by side with 58. Can he make the pass?
Whoa! Thompson just scrapes the wall out of turn 2, pushing the issue, trying to stay alongside the 24. I think Bresci will have this, and there he will, clearing himself up out of turn 4. Bresci to 4th place. In the background, Zach Buchanan up to 11th, is the highest he's run tonight. On the inside of Shane Ewing down in turn number 1.
Buchanan's been making some moves. Looks like his car's starting to come alive in the
night.
Oh,
he slips! Contact out of turn 2. He saves it. No significant damage to the car, but that'll certainly make you think twice next time you try to make a pass at how careful you are. Here comes Radojcic up the outside, tries to fill the hole. And Buchanan going to protect that for now.
Have another go at Shane Ewing sideways.
He slides up the racetrack, gets into the 32, and he's going to be 3 wide on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, I don't think Ewing's going to be a fan of that move. That put him completely out of the groove and is going to make him lose 3 spots. 4.
Yeah, this is really a net loss for both those cars. And I don't think Buchanan meant to slide up into the 32, but after the turn 2 exit, here comes the 22.
He doing more of the same of what Buchanan did to Ewing in the last time.
Really exciting battle, all for about 11th place right now. Brandon Key down to the inside of the 40 car, and Key's trying to move his way back forward after slipping. Buchanan is so loose right now.
Yeah, the thing starts really hot and only getting hotter as he's slipping and sliding all over the place.
Maybe trying to roll the outside lane. He's going to get a great run on the exit of 2, and he will try to... Oh, he's in the fence! As is the 0 of Sam Crow in the background. And there's Gael Brooks out of line with the 4 of Casey Schuin behind. There's just chaos everywhere right now. Oh, the 40 car almost gets turned off the nose of the 22.
These guys are racing really hard and they're stacking up everyone in behind them. Interested in seeing how this plays out because neither one is backing down.
No challenge up front, but the 40 and the 22 continue an incredible race for 12th spot. The 32 of Ewing sitting in behind.
Missing nothing up front. Leaders separate by quite a bit. This is where the action is here on the midfield.
Wow, inches to play with between the 22 and 40. I think Buchanan's finally cleared him. Off into turn 1. He tries, but he's going to drive in really deep, slide up the racetrack, and Key makes it back down to the inside. Caution! Riley Thompson in the wall in turn 2. And everyone scatters the 71 as well.
And Gael Brooks doing a drift out of turn 2 to try to avoid it. Was able to.
Wow, this is a real shame for Riley Thompson. That car doesn't look too hurt. But certainly some contact with the wall, that right front looking pretty torn up. So a strong early run for Thompson is going to end up in a cloud of smoke at the exit of turn 2. Just drove in too hard, just got loose, and tried to hang on to it. Oh man. That was so close here.
Yeah, everyone did a really good job avoiding that because he was right on the outside of that racing line.
Riding on board, you're going to see it. He's going to drive in all on his own and just drive in a little bit too deep. And it starts to get away from him, and he has it saved. And he just loses the lateral grip and just slides in. And thankfully, it's safer barrier there, so it shouldn't hurt quite as much. But
and that's the problem, too, because he can't rely on the banking to keep that car going the way he wants. Starts to flatten out and just try to lock it down and from keeping it to spin out.
All things considered, he did a pretty good job hanging on to that.
That's as much as you could really do. It was either that or spin into the field. I'm pretty sure he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, actually, I think it's turned out a lot better for him to hit the wall than to spin out in front of the entire field. And look at that, he just loses the lateral traction, tries to drive it up the hill and can't. And of course, Kyle Brooks had probably too much of a view of this.
He can't even see what's going on. Still can't see.
Our broadside here. Whoa, did he get hit from behind?
He definitely got hit from behind.
Look from up above on the 71.
Might have been Pelletier.
Yeah, Norm Pelletier in that bright green Camry. And Norm can't see anything. Oh, that's a pretty big hit for the 56. We'll see if Pelletier is able to get that fixed. It looks like a short track car to me.
It looks alright.
Okay, but he gets 100 penalty points for winning a Crocs paint scheme.
I was going to say, it's kind of a good thing that the Crocs car got bashed.
All right.
No offense to him, just Crocs are dumb.
So Casey Licata stays out on the racetrack to potentially pick up a point. I think he's already led a lap, though, tonight.
He's led 2.
So I guess he's just doing this just to stay out of the way for the restart. But Tabaro, Cohan, Evans are be 1, 2, 3 off of pit lane.
Timothy Johnson staying out, too. He'll get one of his 6 laps back, down to 5 for the 28 car.
And Philip Grojcic is multitasking right now just to inform us that paint scheme he's running is based off the Brad Kozlowski Worth paint scheme. And if I can find what team, there he is.
That driver, don't type and drive.
Yeah. And it's, of course, pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is all of October. We'll be back to red next week at Talladega.
Okay. Just thinking about that. Can you imagine how bad it would have been for NASCAR if Brad, you know how he had his phone for the 2012 Daytona 500?
Yeah.
In the car? Imagine if under caution he was actually on.
That would, you know what?
like obviously like under the caution it's like, you know, he's not doing any harm, but if he did
He's got to have like those fancy gloves that let you tap the screen.
I could see a driver nowadays doing that. Like maybe not. Wow, that was
like William Byron or something. Noah Gregson.
That was 7 years ago.
Noah Gregson would be the one to do that.
Yeah. That was 7 years ago.
I see Noah Gregson as a texting and driving type of personality.
I just got that.
I'm just. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I take that back. I take that back. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I know
that wasn't supposed to be a joke. That wasn't supposed to be part of the joke. Oh, I feel terrible now. Oh God. Oh God, I hope he doesn't see that. Oh God, I'm sorry, Noah. I actually like Noah Gregson.
So I'm gonna put that in something.
Well, at least thank you for telling me so that I can apologize and say that publicly so I don't get roasted on social media later. Oh. Bad Kyle. All right, coming back to the restart, be lap number 52, a quarter of the race complete. Stop laughing over there. DeBarro on the inside, Cohen on the outside, Greg Evans, Jeff Ward, Bressy, the rest of your top 5. DeBarro's led every green flag lap. We'll see if he can keep it going. Green flag back in the air here at Richmond.
Restart for DeBarro. Cohen going to let him in line. The same strategy they've been pulling all night long.
Yeah, the restart's looking significantly more aggressive as we make our way through this race. Everyone getting greedier down to the entry to turn number 1. There is Pistorius in the 19. Down on the inside is Shane Ewing. Jeff Ward way up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4.
Kind of established our front runners at the moment. Jeff Ward and Greg Evans, though, still going at it out of turn 2.
89 is starting to claw his way forward, though. He's actually going to make his way by the 46 on the outside lane. But again, look at the line he's taking, significantly higher than anybody else we've seen, and it seems like it's getting him a pretty decent run, especially off of turn number 2. Meanwhile, behind Alec Martinez and Thomas George, this is the fight for 8th place. Martinez drives in super deep, tries to clear himself up, but there's Shane Ewing side by side into turn 2.
You can see Martinez has to back out of it just a little bit to prevent hitting the 32. Going to try to continue to go to the inside, almost on the apron, trying to make a pass on him, and he's getting loose off the corner.
He's going to get split here, 3 wide. This is a battle for 8th. This is not going to work out. if they do this successfully, wow.
Oh, wow. And Radojcic also leaving no room for error.
Yeah, wow. Ooh, behind him, Vic Bloom throwing a block in the 44 of Hensley. Martinez did a really good job getting out of the way there. He knew that wasn't going to work, so it was smart just to back out.
Whoa.
And see now the 9 to Thomas George loose, and I think Martinez should have an opportunity to get the spot back.
I don't know if Thomas George was loose or if he was trying to make a move to the inside and just got loose doing
Wow,
that.
he's driving so hard.
Whoa.
Oh, contact between him and the 54. He squeezed Martinez up into the fence, and now they continue their fight, but I think these two might have a little bit of a spatial disagreement.
Yeah, maybe they do. I think George Martinez saw a hole and stuck his nose in there, and they made some contact, so we'll see how this...
Oh, big crash behind him. Casey's shoe hard into the wall in turn number 1.
Wow, went flying across
He
in front
went
of the camera.
sailing in there.
Good thing for him, he went in their rear first, so
Wow.
front of that car should be fine, but...
He went flying in. This is
He had help.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Big push from Norm Pelletier and just sailed off into the corner and backed it hard into the... That was a vicious impact there. Wow. Pelletier, I don't know if the 4 backed off earlier or Pelletier just missed the corner, but big impact for the 4. Cottis did a good job missing that, as did John Wilco. Had to take a hard left. I like how fast this car stops. I'll go back a bit of a, maybe whatever, like a lap or two and see what happened between the 54 and the 9 out of turn number 2. And take another look at this from the 54's perspective.
Yeah, I think it was a hole that was closing down, but Martinez saw his opportunity.
Yeah, right here he tries to squeeze in, and the 9. Ooh, the 54 is over a couple feet, but that was still a pretty tight squeeze. But somehow they didn't crash, and I'll give the 54 and the 9 credit for not making that a bigger deal than it was. And they're pitted right next to each other, of course. Funny how that works out. So, unfortunately, it'll be the end of the night for the 58.
Yeah, and after such a good run, too.
Yeah, so
you really looked like you could have won this race.
Yeah, so for Riley Thompson, night over. Had the speed to be a top 5, maybe a top 3 car. Ended up in a crash of smoke down in turn number 2 after slipping and sliding out of the way. So unfortunate for him, but it's one man's garbage race is another man's good race. It's a new version of the saying, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the lineup of drivers you have on the track. I'm also looking at the point standings and noticing that we're missing a driver. I'm actually going to let you try to guess who it is.
Brian Chambliss.
Yes.
I believe, from what I heard, I don't know, again, I don't know if this is accurate or not. I think Brian Chambliss had an issue where he can't race anymore.
Oh, yeah. I thought, yeah, I did see that. I remember seeing that for Outsiders. I wasn't sure if that applied just to Outsiders.
Yeah, I think it does, which is going to open up a playoffs or a fuel finals spot. What are you thinking about? You look like you got gears turning in your head.
I do, because also looking right below.
Oh, Matt Bell.
Matt Bell's not here as well. That's
So, 2
potential spots. I don't know about Matt Bell. He might come back next week, but he's going to lose quite a few points here.
And also, Robert Hall, the 13, is not eligible.
Yeah.
Because he has not started enough races this season. So that's 3 spots all around the bubble or around the fuel finals that spots can be taken.
Yeah, and then you look down, so that's 2 spots that guys have that will be eventually opened up. Definitely one that we're aware of, as far as we know for Chambliss. And then you look down 14th, and it's Hayden Pistorius, and where's he running? He's running in 6th right now, so...
Yeah.
If he can get a solid finish tonight, that should jump him into the playoff spot, and even Vic Bloom, too, is looking like it, as well as Thomas George. I'm sure he definitely wants to get back in there, the 9 car.
Yeah, there's a couple of drivers I'm looking at, Hayden Pistorius especially, that when we went to Daytona were extremely solid, and I could see them going off to Talladega next week and winning that race. And remember, winning locks you in. So as we head off to what could be the biggest wild card of the season, there's a lot to grab. And if you thought Daytona was crazy with that spectacular finish, just wait till we get to Talladega next. Actually, we have an off week next week, but 2 weeks from now, I believe. And that is going to be determining how we really set the playoff grid for the fuel finals, because the week after that's USA, and I see that being a potentially chaotic race. I also see that potentially going pretty smoothly. So it kind of depends on who is where in the points. But I think our front runners have clearly been established as Tavara Ward and Nick Cohan in terms of the finals picture. Martinez certainly could run well, but I think he needs to get a victory before we could consider him a real championship contender. So coming back to the restart, it'll be lap number 63. We've had a trio of cautions so far. We had 29 actually make that 30 cars start this race. We're down 5, down to 25 cars. And Timothy Johnson is only 4 laps down now, Finian. So at this rate, he will get his laps back.
Yeah, This race is going just as he would like.
Green flag back in the air up front. DeBarro, Cohan, Evans, and Ward, your top 4.
I'm curious what Evans and Ward have got up their sleeves to try to get around these front 2 drivers. We look at the midfield as they're trying to sort themselves out.
Yeah, it's been extremely aggressive in the mid-pack tonight. There's Shane Ewing, Pistorius, Martinez, Radojcic, and Thomas George were all engaged in an incredible battle on that last short run. I see that pretty much resuming where it left off, but now the 54s by the 9 and 14, who continue their fight for 9th place right now at the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, and all those guys were right by each other. Oh,
no, the
Hensley!
44 Hensley and the 40 of Buchanan tied up a big crash on the inside on the back straightaway.
And no caution, though. We remain green.
Oh, man. I think we'll probably get one here as the 40 turns back around. No,
Nope.
we don't. So we'll stay green still. And Tyler Hensley is pretty much destroyed as we head back off the exit of turn 2. So that was the 44 getting loose, and I think he just kind of took the 40 car with him.
Richard Buchanan was having a pretty decent run up until that happened.
Yeah, and I sense that might be enough damage to end at least the 44's race and possibly the 40s as well. Oh, the 9 of Thomas George drove off really hard into turn 1. And they're door-to-door on the back straightaway as Don Runkle Jr. is slow, and he's in the fence hard out of turn 2.
Yeah, and big damage to the right side of his car. That thing's not going to handle the same. It's heavy damage. He smacked that wall.
Of course,
really hard.
He's got Mission 22 on the hood, which is the title sponsor of the series. If you'd like to consider donating to Mission 22's cause, the link in the video description. And for Don Runkle, chased up the racetrack. It looked a lot like what happened to the 58 of Riley Thompson. Shane Ewing losing a spot to Radojcic right now as they make their way off of turn 4.
Now George is trying to pick which line he wants to go with, probably with the 14 to the inside.
I think it's really unclear to me what line is the better one right now. I've seen passes in the bottom, I've seen passes on the top.
I think it depends really on the driver and which lane, which kind of suits their driving style better. Some guys are able to run that bottom lane better, some able to rock the top more.
Which is extremely good because we've seen quite a bit of good racing so far tonight. Thomas George sails up the inside of the 32. And I was concerned we would not be able to see a whole lot of passing tonight, but it seems like we are. And George really holding Ewing on us at the exit of 2. Will dive into 3. Pulls even with him and tries to clear. Maybe a little bit of contact. Slides up, takes it for granted. Vic Bloom, the 99, slow out of turn 4. Coming down pit lane.
For the 99, not entirely sure why. It doesn't look like anything's wrong with his car, at least immediately.
I'm going to see what happened. He's got some right front damage. I'm not sure if that's recent or not. That's not recent, so I'm not exactly sure what happened to the 99, but he's down pit lane. For the lead, though, DeBarro has not really been able to break away like he has in runs past. The 21 of Cohan keeping him honest here.
More curious on what the 46 of Gray Evans right in behind these guys has. He's only just under 7/10 of a second behind, and he's closing in on Nick Cohen here, so he might be able to make a pass on the 21, maybe chase down the 27.
Remember, the only win that Greg Evans has after his championship run at Las Vegas 2 seasons ago was a win at Martinsville last season. So, this 46 car, he won, 8 races the first season? 8 or 9 races, something ridiculous. I think it was 9 of 17. Basically won over half the season. And then the switch to the new package has not gone well for him. As Cohan has caught DeBarro and almost ran him into the fence down in turn 1.
Here's what this 21's going to do now. If he's tired of playing second fiddle to the 27, he's going to start attacking for the lead because that's not what DeBarro needs right now.
Well, these teammates have the advantage that both of them are locked into the finals. And Nick Cohan knows DeBarro is all set on bonus points, but Cohan needs some more. I don't think he'll race them very nicely. I think he'll go for it here.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the thing, too, is that they're not racing for the spot. They're racing for the bonus points now. That's really going to be a big factor going into the next races once the final start.
74 laps complete of 200 here tonight, almost halfway through this race. 25 until we reach the halfway point. And Hayden Pistorius is still sitting quietly in 6th place tonight. Again, both these TDR teammates had really strong runs, although, of course, the 58 out early tonight. But Pistorius is carrying that torch on. But is Alec Martinez closing in? It looks like a little bit, but so is Radojcic in that 14. A strong one for the 14 car this evening as well.
Yeah, 54, the 9, and the 14 all closing in on each other yet again on this run.
So the Best Buy sponsored and Magnolia sponsored 14 is going to try to close in on that 54. And Meanwhile, behind Gael Brooks in the 71 and Christopher Matthews in the 92. Christopher Matthews actually led a couple laps tonight because he stayed out under the previous caution to grab one of those points. And currently running in the 13th spot. He's been as high as 5th this evening, with the exception of his lap led under caution. So starting to get a green flag run under our belts here as we go back to the fight for second, as Greg Evans tried to reel in the 21, but now as the tires begin to wear off, I think we'll start to see maybe aero issues become a bigger issue as these drivers try to follow each other through the corners.
Yeah, here's these guys apexing at completely different points to one another, trying to get some cleaner air as well.
And Thomas Bresci quietly in 4th tonight. Remember last week at Kentucky how hard he was driving to just hang on to his 10th spot? Really didn't have a whole lot of speed last week. Ended up having internet connectivity issues, which took him out of the race for the lead. But I think Bresci is definitely in need of a victory. Again, he's doing fine on points, but you need to start winning races. It's just so hard. These top 3 are so difficult to beat, especially DeBarro. So still lots of work to do in the 24 camp, but I think at least he's got the consistency part now. Thomas George working his way back by Radojcic.
Yeah, 9's caught the 14. Going to look to the inside a little. Radojcic putting up a fight on the outside. They see George having to back off the throttle to prevent getting into contact with the 14. He's going to try again, though.
See up the road, the 54 working his way by Hayden Pistorius. Those guys are door to door. That is for 6th place. Otto Martinez almost didn't run this race because he.
Whoa!
Oh no! There they go. The 14 car sliding up the racetrack. He saves it. What a drive by the 14 to hang on to that race car.
I kind of saw that coming halfway down the front straightaway.
So he got moved pretty clearly there down into turn number 1. The 9 car thought he needed to get by and drove off into the corner and. Wow, look at the drift the 14 car did. Great job by Radojcic. So you're going to see in the mirror here in a moment, the nose of the 9 car, there it is, and slides up the racetrack.
Made that look easy.
Now he's all over Shane Ewing trying to get 9th spot back. As Martinez has not been able to get by Pistorius yet. He tried and failed.
Waiting to try to get another go for he has Thomas George catch back up to him.
Trying to get that throttle down very even. The car smoking. Oh, some smoke out of turn 4.
Oh, Will Roberts retired.
Uh-oh. No, that was 9 laps ago. I don't know why he retired. No damage on that race car.
Might have been Zach Buchanan.
Could be. Let's go back and take a look. Oh, yes. Actually, this is back a little ways here. Let's take a look. Let's see here. He was out of the racetrack on the lead lap, but he had the leaders coming. I think you can see the car definitely not handling very well. I think when he's going to get to turn 4, you're going to see it probably go up in a puff of smoke here. And poof. So for Zach Buchanan, a blown motor, got off the racetrack, but that'll be the end of the 40s night. Just horrible luck for him lately, and that crash was nothing of his doing. He did nothing wrong there tonight.
He was just a victim, and nothing you can, as you said, nothing you can do. He's going to finish back down, and he probably looks like 23rd.
Pistorius and Martinez going back at it. And George is closing on these two, so I think Martinez has a little bit of urgency. And he's going to actually get clear of the 19. We'll take the spot away. Oh, no, he slides out of turn 2. He still has the spot. What a drive.
Yeah, it was a fantastic drift there by Martinez to keep that car going straight. Thought he was going to bend it there, but did a fantastic job to save it.
He completed the pass, too.
Yeah. Pistorius is probably backed out of it, thinking that the 54 is going to wreck. Now he's got to worry about the 9 of Thomas George behind him.
He is attacking the braking zones in this 9 car, and I have not really looked at his brake temperatures yet, but they're not hot.
Yeah, they're pretty cold, all things considered. And he's caught up to the 19 of Pistorius here. Should be able to make some quick work, and I'm curious how long it's going to take that 9 to catch 54.
Yeah, we're
going to keep in the front.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that battle. The leaders are still running nose to tail. Cohen's trying. He's trying really hard. He's quicker than the 27, and they're trying all sorts of different lines. 27 moving up the racetrack.
Whoa, Cohen loose off the corner.
Seeing a lot of drivers struggling with corner exit grip.
Honestly, what that's telling me is these guys are really starting to lose grip in their tires, grip that they're going to need. So I imagine a lot of guys are going to come in as soon as they can to try to get some fresher tires on there.
Yeah, so take a look at our race stint so far. 31 laps into the run. They're going to go for a little longer, but I think we'll probably see some drivers try to pull an undercut. We haven't really lost a whole lot of pace on the tires. only about a second off in the first 30 laps, which isn't enormous by Goodyear tire standards, but I think we might see some drivers play some tire strategy just to gain an advantage. This is the one series that has more Toyotas than Fords.
Yeah. Or almost any other manufacturer for that matter.
Yep. Off into turn one, though, DeBarro has begun to stretch his lead out. Meanwhile, George and Pistorius continue their battle, and George drives up the racetrack. He's going to use up the 19 car just a little bit on the exit at 2. Not quite clear.
Not quite clear. Should be able to get clear down into turn 3. Indeed, he does, and will make that pass for 7th.
Norm Pelletier and Christopher Matthews trading spots for 12th. Pelletier's actually having quite a good night, all things considered. He's been caught up in a couple accidents. Got the nose of that thing punched on in, but it's still running pretty decent.
Currently as they run, we got 19 cars on the lead lap. First car lap down is Vic Bloom, who's 2 laps down.
So you see just up the road, there is Don Runkle Jr., the last driver on the lead lap, and that's going to change some things. Lap traffic, of course, going to introduce some... Okay, well, they had a little internet anomaly. We've had that twice the past couple nights, but we're back.
Yeah, I literally just yawned and closed my eyes, and then I heard everything. I heard everything stop.
Yep. It's like you had a heart attack or something. I don't know what's... We've had that a couple times, and typically if you lose connection, you just lose connection. But I have a hunch that it's iRacing servers lately been kind of funky because everyone's been having weird issues like that. But anyway, we're back and we're good. But as I was saying, DeBarro's gonna catch some lap traffic, and we're probably gonna be dealing with a little bit of aero push, aero wash in the traffic as well. So we'll see how quickly Anthony DeBarro is able to dispose of those lap cars.
Yeah, the best thing for these guys, once they hit their numbers as far as fuel, as soon as they can come in to avoid working through some lap traffic, I say come on in.
So right now, looking at the top 10 lap times, it appears that Nick Cohen's actually the fastest car on the racetrack. He's beginning to close back down to DeBarro, but then he hits that wall of air about 2 or 3 tenths behind the 27 and is unable to close beyond that. So it's a half a second gap now, and we'll see if the 21 can eventually get by DeBarro. So rolling our way out of turn number 2 again. Lap traffic on the horizon for the top 3 drivers, then Thomas Bresci 4th, Ward 5th. You doing okay over there, Finney? You're making all sorts of weird faces. Car on the wall, that was Shane Ewing out of turn 2.
Yeah, he's been starting to struggle. Martinez has moved his way up to 6th. Shane Ewing's been kind of left in the dust here. And under attack from Pelletier and also the 92 Christopher Matthews in behind.
Yeah, so Ewing again typically runs around where the 54 of Alec Martinez is, at least for the majority of the race, and looks like he's struggling a little bit compared to the 54 this week. There's, of course, Pelletier and Christopher Matthews. Actually, that is Vic Bloom on his outside. Matthews is right behind. Vic Bloom currently 2 laps down. And one driver that has begun to recover his night is the 22 Brandon Key. He started the race up in 4th. He dropped all the way towards the end of the lead lap, and now he's recovered all the way back up to 10th spot. So he's got that 22 figured out and pointed in the right direction. I will point you, though, to the inside of the right front wheel. Let's just ride on board here for a moment.
That's getting really red hot in there for the 22 car.
Yeah, and this is not every driver in the field. It's very clear to me which drivers are using up their equipment more. The ones that have the hot brake rotors currently putting a lot of pressure on that race car to perform. So he's moving his way forward, but at the expense of the tires and the heat and the brakes for sure. Behind him, Shane Ewing and Norm Pelletier. They continue their fight for 11th. Halfway is already gone and passed. DeBarro, Cohan, Evans, Bresci, Ward, your top 5 at the halfway point.
Nothing's really changed, including gaps, except for these two. Looks like Jeff Ward's caught up to Bresci. You see him emerge very closely into turn. He's really
putting the pressure
over.
on.
Yeah, he's really all over the 24, but lost a lot of that in exit.
Yeah, a bit of a bobble on exit for the 89. Last week's winner from Kentucky. It was the 27 of DeBarro that dominated the first fuel run, and then Ward was able to pass him as he slides again at a turn 4, struggling with the tires now. But he won last week in dominating fashion, and this week currently good enough for maybe 3rd place, but has a little bit of work to do if he wants to win this race.
Yeah, I think he's struggling with the tires, and also it's definitely not helping the fact that he's stuck in right behind the 24, and he's kind of slowly dripping back, getting some air to the nose and rear of that car.
These two still going at it for 11th. There's also Christopher Matthews has now entered the fight, so it's a 3-car duel.
Oh, Peltier in there
Whoa!
hard. He's going to make contact with the 32, going to hold up the 92, and they're 3 wide out of turn 4.
This is a big scatter. That's Casey Shu approaching him from behind. He's also a battle for position.
Oh.
Matthews comes up the racetrack a little bit. He'll clear the 54, but Ewing will take the long way around.
He's still side by side with the 92 of Matthews here, and we'll see what he does. If he's able to make the pass on the 92 and take that position back.
A lot of aggressive driving tonight, but I think Ewing will have to back out of this for now. And let's go back and just take a look at how that all started. It was really the 56 drove in, slid up the racetrack, got into the 32. Christopher Matthews had to take a hard left down to the inside, but was able to get by both those cars. So good driving there on the 92's part. Rusty and Ward, a tenth between these two. I think Ward's a touch quicker, and he's going to drive off really deep into turn 1.
Yeah, he's a touch quicker. Only problem is he doesn't have clean air torque like the 24 has, and I think that's the biggest deciding factor in this fight for these two. Well, it looks like Ward's still managing as he gets to the inside of Bresci.
See right there on the track map is the difference between Ward and the leader. It's approximately 3.6 seconds, so still a relatively close field for being this deep into a run, but you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that can go run the 27 down flat. You see the 24's run at the exit of turn 2 just sets him back clear again, and Ward has to do it all over. So the outside lane, very, very good for protecting a spot, and makes the inside pretty much impossible to make a pass now. So some rubber forming on that inside groove that you'd think would grip up the racetrack quite a bit, but not quite enough to make a pass a viable option. I think for the first 50 or 60 laps, you can make a pass top or bottom. Now, I think now the bottom is becoming to be a less and less good groove.
Gap for the lead is expanded to about a second, probably for the first time this run. So the bar is starting to build a gap between the two competitors in behind.
Yeah, 50 laps into this run now. And Greg Evans is now beginning to put pressure on Cohan. That makes me wonder if Greg Evans, I don't know if he's got necessarily the long run speed, but I do think if you were to trade these guys track position wise, I don't think you'd see DeBarro be able to go up and drive in past these two guys. I think you're really seeing track position matter quite a bit once we get into these long green flag runs. So will someone maybe try to beat someone off pit lane, maybe pull some strategy on some shorter runs? You talked about the 2-tire thing last week, especially at Iowa. Could that sort of thing work here? We're not seeing enormous lap time drop-offs. Maybe 2 tires would be something to try.
Yeah, I was honestly kind of surprised in the stretch of cautions we got that guys like Greg Evans and Ward didn't even at least try 2 tires to get ahead of the leaders. I think they're, I guess, worried about getting a long green flag run and being stuck on older tires on one side of the car. But I think they're going to need to do some sort of strategy. If we start getting cautions again, I would honestly take 2 tires to disrupt their momentum that they got in the front.
So we've had 4 cautions in this race for a total of 17 of our 113 laps so far. 6 lead changes at the front of the field, although none of them under green flag conditions. That's been kind of par for the course this year. These races have been mostly clean and green, but the challenge to pass on the racetrack has been a big struggle because the talent level of the series is so high, and the aero wash and aero push makes these cars, even at short tracks, difficult to pass with.
But the fact that you guys managed to get it done clean for the most part is impressive nonetheless. You see Ward trying to work the inside of Bresci. You can imagine he's getting a little bit frustrated in that Mustang.
So my question to you is, how frustrated are you if you're Jeff Ward? You're clearly faster, but you can't pass. Does this make you, let's pretend we're not Jeff Ward. Let's pretend we're someone like Alec Martinez or Thomas George or Brandon Key. I guess Brandon Key isn't really eligible for the Fuel Finals, but anybody that is eligible for the Fuel Finals that goes into Talladega next week, you spent all season in aero wash and aero push. You go to Talladega, you get a chance to do something crazy to win the race. It's going to make these guys pretty desperate, don't you think?
Yeah, man, especially the guys, for Ward, in his case, he's just worried about wins because he's got that win locked in, so he's just kind of worried about really getting bonus points. Nothing else really matters for the 89 car.
I just think that there's going to be so much desperation involved as we head to Talladega and USA Speedway because really only a couple drivers have had a shot to win a race this season. Of course, DeBarro's won 3 of the 7 we've completed. The others were Nick Cohan, Robert Hall, and Timothy Johnston. I think I'm missing maybe one more. No, that's it.
Jeff Ward.
Jeff Ward. So we've only had a handful of drivers win races, and the diversity in winners has not been enormous. So there's going to be a lot of desperation when we go to Talladega next week. I think we'll see a lot of cutthroat driving, and I think we're going to see a very entertaining race at Dega in 2 weeks when we head there. For second place, Greg Evans is beginning to put more pressure on, and Evans was actually one of the fastest cars on the racetrack last time by, and so was Thomas Bresci as well. So a couple drivers within the top 5 have some long run pace. They just don't have the track position to really do much with it.
Yeah, I think Cohen's pretty much holding Greg Evans up at this point. Pretty much being rear gunner to the 27, but also trying to keep his own hopes alive in second place. See Evans giving a little bit of a bump on corner exit, trying to tell Cohen start moving because we're starting to lose the lead here.
Yeah, 1.6 seconds back, and I think Ward and Bressie were dead even. And here comes Ward to the inside, and I think he might have the spot. Bressie's going to fight hard on the outside, and they're going to drag race down the front straight.
Not done yet. Ward's really going to have to throw it into the corner here to try to clear an entry. There you see him make a big dive into the corner. Going to try to slide up in front of the 24.
And crossover by the 24, Bressie. Great run, and he should be able to re-clear the 89 easily, but now Ward's got the outside lane, which will be the preferred line to make this pass.
Yeah, Ward's going to pinch the 24 down on the inside. This could have worked out to Ward's strategy here. No, they're still side by side.
Yeah, I think this is going to ultimately be a victory for the 89 car, though. So really, I mean, that's what we're starting to see is maybe make those dive bombs, drive into the corner deep, and then slide up, and now you'll have the outside lane. So I think Bressie tried to do the crossover, but couldn't really do anything with it once he did it. So lesson learned there for the 24.
And that was Jeff Ward up in the 4th place. Still a little bit loose off the corner. Wow, he's loose on the entire straightaway.
Yeah, spinning those tires. We know how hard they're working inside those race cars.
Curious if Ward can try to make some inroads now that he's clear out of the 24th wash. Can he try to catch up to Greg Evans? They're not too terribly far up the road.
Yeah, it's 5.2 seconds between Bressie and DeBarro. And we're closing in on our first green flag pit stop sequence of the night. I can see drivers down any lap now. But I would probably see if they could do it on one more stop. They might try to extend the field a little bit. I mean, we have about under 80 laps to go. They've gone 61. If they can go another 10 laps, they'd be good.
I was going to say, they're going to probably try to go to 140. It's got the restart around lap 60-ish. So they can try to go to lap 140. They can make it to the end.
Casey Lakatos has just gone one lap down. That leaves only 15 cars on the lead lap. Sam Crow in the 0 is the next one to meet the 27.
What were you so right? I didn't know what I was saying. I did the math wrong.
I just basically said that if they can go 10 more laps, mathematically they can make it on whatever fuel mileage they're getting.
Yeah. I added another 10 laps to my.
Yeah. So if they can go 75 laps, they could come right now, but we don't know if they can or not yet. So we'll see. They've gone 66.
I imagine probably actually once we hit 130, I think guys are probably going to start coming in.
Yep. Any time, really, as we'll see drivers hit pit lane. Of course, when they do hit pit lane, you'll see them on the tag on pit lane as they enter, and here comes Brandon Key, the first one to visit. You see the pit tag alongside his name, and he's going to be the first one down with 75 laps to go. It makes me think we can easily make it to the end on one more stop. Nick Cohen and Greg Evans, the 10th, separate them. I think one of these drivers could easily overleap the other one if they could just hit a lap sooner. But what's the risk in that? There's still enough laps left that an overcut could work a little bit, but there's not enough fall-off for that to really be effective.
I think also a big thing to keep in mind, too, is if someone makes a mistake, it's pretty hard pit road to get onto Red Richmond. If someone makes a mistake, especially with these loose tires, as they're starting to wear out, if someone makes a mistake, getting on pit road causes a caution that can change up everything. You don't want to be the one cut out on strategy here because you're going to be a lap down, definitely, if you make a pit stop.
Yeah, I think my strategy would be to basically just run the car out of fuel. I don't, especially if I'm DeBarro. You know, that way you're safe if any cautions come out. I think it's a little bit of a risk to pit earlier, but Casey Shue has come on down.
Yeah, I think it really depends on how much of a risk these drivers want to take. If they want to risk the caution coming out for fresher tires to work with, that's a risk they're going to have to take here.
Nick Cohen started 10th tonight. Qualifying effort was not great, but he's had quite a bit of pace. Just think if he had started up towards the front. Do you remember what the fuel load is percentage-wise for this league? It's like, I thought it was like 80 something.
I think it's 80.
Pretty sure it's 80%, but I could be wrong about that. We do with so many different leagues that it all blurs together. We just kind of wing it every time. I have no idea. And also, in the past, we've kind of had rough fuel mileage numbers. Then when they added the big spoiler on these cars, it made them a lot less fuel efficient.
Significantly so. It's honestly incredible how much they got rid of.
Everything we knew was out the window when they put the big blade on these cars.
The big blade and the tapered spacer and the aero ducts, the whole 9 yards.
Nick Cohen swinging to the bottom, going to give the 46 the top. Cohen's coming in with 70 laps to go and right along the inside lane. Wasn't super aggressive with the entry, though.
Yeah, I can't blame him. It's very easy to lock it up and spin. You're going to spin into the racing line.
So Cohen is in from second place. DeBarro still out on the racetrack. I don't think DeBarro needs to respond, but we'll see if he does. He will not, so he'll stay out yet another lap. Norm Pelletier also in. Currently in 11th spot. Oh, excuse me, that wasn't Pelletier. That was Cohan dropping down the order that I saw. Jeff Ward on pit lane. He's going to bring Thomas Bresci with him, so both those drivers hit pit lane. Again, there's had 4 cautions this race for 13 laps since then. We've been clean and green. It has been approximately 75 laps since our last caution, and Bresci is in quite nicely into his stall. But when will that leader come to pit lane? That is the question.
I'd imagine you want to come in pretty soon. I think most of his competitors have come in. Now would be a good time, but he's going to continue to run out there.
So Alec Martinez is also staying out of the racetrack in his number 54. Maybe trying to play some strategy, stay out as long as he can and hope for a caution, maybe get some track position. But otherwise, I don't think with how this race has been going, if you're not in the top 3, you're not really going to have a chance to win this race.
Yeah, I think that's why he's decided to stay out there. Clearly, you can't win the race on just pace alone, so I think he's going to try to win it on some strategy.
Wojciech comes into pit lane. Barrow stays out yet another lap. Closing in on 50 laps to go here shortly. About 23 minutes of racing remaining in the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series round number 8. We'll have 2 races after this. It'll be Talladega in 2 weeks, and then USA International. That'll round out the regular season. Then 5 Fuel Finals races that determine the champion. So we're getting close to the end of the season here already. The season has gone by very, very quickly. I feel like we've done more races in the past. 15 races is a pretty short season for these guys. I think we had 17 or 18 last season, something like that.
Something along those lines.
Barrow continues to roll around the racetrack. He's got those brakes pretty hot and bothered, but in terms of the pace he's on, he has not really... He's slipped off, but he's not running 4 laps by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I think at this point he's probably definitely going to lose the lead, but is going to have some fresh tires to work with when he does eventually make his pit stop. So it'll be interesting to see where he pops back out in line.
Brakes glowing hot on the 27. Now Norm Pelletier hits pit lane in the 56. He is on and off. Still a pretty large disparity between drivers who came in earlier and drivers who are staying later. So we can easily go 80 laps on fuel. So I think everyone's good at the end no matter what now. And here comes the 27 entering the apron to come down pit lane. Not super aggressive here either. We've seen a lot of drivers be pretty cautious, trying to avoid getting penalties and things of the sort.
Yeah, avoiding any penalties, also avoiding making a mistake missing pit road, because that could be very costly for you, as Alec Martinez is going to take the lead of this race.
And he might try to stay out and hope for a yellow, but I don't think that's going to happen here. So he stays out of the racetrack. DeBarro comes down pit lane and into his stall. And there's the 9 of Thomas George, who's returning to the racetrack after his stop. The 9 has not had quite as much pace as I would have thought tonight.
Yeah, he has an okay car underneath him. Hopefully he can improve here in this last run that we have, but pulls out in front of the 50 of Casey Licata, is currently running in 14th.
So where is the 27 going to cycle out? Ooh, interesting. Behind the 24 and the 89, and also behind the 21 and 46 by a pretty large amount.
Yeah, that's...
And he had a perfectly clean pit stop, but I didn't think that the undercut would work that effectively. Now the question is, how much will the 8 or 9 lap difference make in the speeds later in the run? So the 27's going to have some work to do to get by, but this might be a great strategy call for the front runners. The 21 will actually cycle out to be the leader and by a couple seconds over Greg Evans.
Yeah, so about a second separation between the 21 and the 46. There's a decent gap to Ward and Bresci.
There's Casey Licatas, who is still not pit yet. Neither of the Sim Motorsports cars have visited pit lane, perhaps waiting for a yellow.
They're really banking on that caution coming out.
Running out of laps, though, I'll tell you that much. Alec Martinez continues to lead the race. Got some laps led, another point that will help him out. He's only been as low as 12th tonight after starting 9th. Although he's going to lose a lot of spots, and as he pulls over, there's the 27, unlapping himself from the leader.
He might come in now. Nope, he's going to stay on.
Looked like he thought about it. But Shane Ewing is sitting second, and he has also not come to pit lane. 85 laps on the run for the 32 car.
Yeah, another guy just kind of hoping that a caution comes out.
Field's pretty spread out. No one's really racing all that hard, so I don't really think we'll see a caution. But if one were to happen, it'd be pretty golden.
I think we can definitely see a caution coming out just with the different guys on different sets of tires. You know, guys on 80 lap old tires and guys on completely new tires. There's a big speed difference there. As Alvin Martinez is down to the pits to make his stop.
The 50 of Casey Lacatus has also come down for his as well.
Ewing's still out there running some laps in third place, although the guys ahead of him, Greg Evans and Nick Cohen, have made their stop.
Yeah, so Nick Cohen has really launched himself into a chance to win this race. I mean, the 27 to DeBarro is 40 seconds back. That doesn't make any sense.
No, you give it a second. It gets really screwy when the leader comes in.
Okay, I was going to say, 7.5. That's a lot of time, 7.5 seconds. I don't think DeBarro can make that up.
Yeah, he's gonna. I mean, look at all the traffic he's got to pass. That's not everyone is for position. I think almost none of them up ahead are for position. He's got to find a lot of lap down cars. That's just going to use up the fresh tires that he's been saving up. So I don't think this is really the particular track to try to pull an overcut at.
No, and like I said, I mean, I was concerned that there wasn't enough of a lap time difference for the overcut to really work. The 00 is in the fence in turn 4.
I mean, I don't think there was much of a difference.
Turn 2, rather. Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't think there was much of a lap time difference. I just think that the 27 stayed out too long.
Yeah. So if you take a look, there is strategy all over the place in terms of when people pit last.
And he stayed out 9 laps more than Nick Cohen. That's a pretty sizable amount of time.
And Cohen's still 1.2 out in front of Greg Evans, who pit 1 lap prior, or 1 lap after, rather, Nick Cohen. So Cohen played some great strategy here. This is certainly not going to be a bad result for DeBarro if he finishes in 4th, but I mean, it's still bonus points are bonus points, and the 21 could end up with 10 more tonight.
Oh, Ewing! Whoa, boy, Ewing getting in the way of DeBarro and rocking around his teammate. That got really sketchy there.
So Cohen's Toyota leads the race. It's Evans in a Camaro, Ward in a Mustang, and DeBarro's Camry. Did I say? I did say that Cohen was in a Camry and not a Camaro, right? I feel like I messed that up. Bresci is in 5th in his Chevrolet Camaro, as Shane Ewing and John Wilco finally come to pit lane, which will cycle everybody out.
Really good mix of manufacturers, though, instead of the top 15.
So, 50 laps to go, just under 50 to go now. And Nick Cohen leads by 1.1 seconds over Greg Evans, and it's 5 seconds back. Caution!
Oh, boy. Oh, it's Pelletier.
Pelletier at the exit of turn 2, and that's going to change the face of this race, and Shane Ewing is going to be kicking himself for not staying out 1 more lap, because he would have been in a great spot had he done that.
Honestly, I don't even think he probably could have stayed up there another lap.
Probably not.
The way he was staying out, he was staying until it ran on fumes. So
we only have 7 cars scored on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, so.
But our 5th caution of the night, this time it was the 56 off the bumper of the 4.
Oh.
Whoa! I think, weren't those 2 the ones that were involved? Yeah, I think they were. Wasn't the 56 the one that got in the back of the 4 earlier?
Yeah.
So I think this is almost certainly some retaliation here.
Let's see.
I mean, what goes around comes around, right? Eye for an eye? Yeah. That's retaliation there.
That's kind of hard to...
Unfortunately for the 4.
Hard to defend for the 4.
Yeah, kind of, I mean, fair enough. I mean, the 56 put him in the wall earlier, so, I mean, it is what it is, but unfortunate for the 56 and for the 4. He got to hurt his own car in the whole process there. So our 5th caution of the night with under 50 laps to go. This should bring everyone back down to pit lane.
And I think this is actually not good for DeBarro because he got put back in traffic and now lost his very valuable track position.
I would say that this is great for DeBarro because all that gap that he had is going to be gone now. He'll just get to pass people now.
Well, he's going to be stuck in traffic though, and everyone's going to be in equal tires.
Well, yes.
He was banking on having fresh.
He had a tire advantage before, yes, but he also had a bunch of lap cars in between him. So at least he'll be on equal footing and won't have to battle with some lap down cars. So it was a 7-second gap. So I think this is still an advantage for the 27. However, I also think it's an advantage for guys like Thomas Bresci, who are going to be back in the fight and the hunt for the victory. Now, I think this is going to get a little chaotic from here on out.
Yeah, I think so too. So it's going to be Nick Cohen in the lead. It's going to be Greg Evans second, Jeff Ward in third. Anthony DeBarro looks like he's actually cycling out to fourth.
Yeah, because Phil Bergojcic is back down into pit lane, receiving his service after, I thought he was going to lead a lap. He did not lead a lap.
I think was trying to. I think good time he did not work out with the 14, but DeBarro going to be in fourth place. And this is going to immediately go into the 27's hands because I imagine Cohen's probably going to pick the outside lane, help his teammate out on the outside.
So track conditions, I thought they dropped down to ambient, but they have not. It's only dropped a couple degrees. So track has stayed pretty stable conditions-wise for the whole race.
I thought it was going to drop to about 80.
Still at 84. We started the night at 86 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so we should be about 40 laps to go, maybe a little bit less when we go back green. Predictions for the end of this thing, I think it'd be pretty hard not to pick a Dizzy Motorsports Toyota Camry, but, I mean, is there anybody else that might sneak in there?
I think Greg Evans, he's got a really good... he's looking pretty strong tonight in that 46. He's pretty much been one of the only guys I've really seen challenge the 21 and the 27.
His rear bumper says I'm second, and he is indeed in second.
I imagine he's going to want to change that, though, here shortly, although he's going to kind of have the odds against him. Because
this is the Dizzy Motorsports guys are going to have a really good restart lined up on presumably the outside lane. So that means for Evans and Jeff Ward, they better be getting ready to roll on the inside and try to take down these teammates. I think it's very clear that the Dizzy cars are the ones you have to beat for the championship, and you're going to have to start working together to beat those cars as a team and not just individuals. Even though there might be a different manufacturer emblazoned on the hood of the 46 and 89, I think they're going to look a heck of a lot like teammates here in just a moment. So a lot of cars getting the wave around now. Get them all passing the pace car. Look at all those cars.
Yeah, a lot of guys getting wave around, as we usually see when these cautions come out mid-sequence. So we're going to have, looks like 15 cars back on the lead lap. KT Shu is going to be the first driver a lap down. As well as also Sam Crow and John Loco, all three of them are one lap down.
So it'll be 43 laps to go.
There's no one there for the restart. And there you see them coming into picture.
A pair of Dizzy Camrys on the outside lane. A Camaro and a Mustang on the inside lane. American Muscle versus the imports on the outside. Green flag back in the air, and Cohan fires off. And the 46 actually got a pretty good restart, all things considered.
That was a really good restart. That's exactly what he needed to do. He's going to have to try to keep DeBarro in behind him. He can definitely challenge 21. DeBarro, though, is a different story.
DeBarro's going to get the second spot away. Greg Evans tries to hang on. He can't do it. Behind him, Bressie and George still side by side for P5.
These guys duking diving. Here comes Thomas George trying to show some strength here, trying to break inside the top 5.
Yeah, I'd be amazed if we managed to get through the rest of this race without someone else losing some patience. But Nick Cohan leads the way. His teammate is right behind him.
Here's how these two guys are going to play it out. Roles are reversed now with the 27 staying behind. 21 to try to fight for it.
For Anthony DeBarro, all he's really capable of doing now is burying everyone else in the points and burying them with more of those Fuel Finals bonus points for winning races. He's won more races than anybody else 3 times over. If he could get a 4th win tonight, it would solidify him clearly as the championship favorite if he wasn't already. And now he's putting a lot of pressure on his teammate. 40 laps to go at Richmond.
He's running right in behind Cohen, not giving him any breathing room and having looks into turn 1 here.
Nose to tail, the Dizzy Camrys out front, then Evans, Ward, Bressie, the rest of your top 5. And Evans has actually kind of kept pace with the 27, might put some pressure on him for P2.
Yeah, I think definitely the 27 is the faster of these 3, but he's been stuck in behind Cohen and really has nothing he can do and nowhere he can really go.
How much is Cohan willing to defend? Will these two tangle? I mean, again, they are both safe. They have really nothing to lose by fighting each other hard.
I mean, they do, and that's giving Greg Evans a bunch of bonus points into the playoffs. So you really got to think long-term here as you see DeBarro go to the inside of Cohen side by side for the lead.
Door to door, the two Dizzy teammates at the front of the field. Both of them have won races. The driver behind him has not. Greg Evans is hungry for a win. He has not won since Martinsville last season, and there is an opportunity dangling right in front of him as the two teammates collide into the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, let's see if you can try to get to the outside of DeBarro here or try to do something to that 27.
He's going to try to build a run, and they're going to fight for it. But here comes Greg Evans. They'll probably take the outside lane and try to keep DeBarro pinned on the bottom as they continue to battle for the lead.
He's been backing up these corners very nicely in the that 46s. You see him having a look. He's going to get a little bit of a draft in the 27. Look to the outside again. DeBarro, big dive into turn 1.
Yeah, DeBarro's trying to make that pass clear, but Cohan is just so good on corner exit with the outside lane. He clears his teammate for a moment, but look how deep he drives in. He slides up the racetrack. Contact. Here comes Greg Evans. 3 wide for the lead out of turn 4. And he'll take the lead away.
He's going to take the lead. He's not going to have it for long. DeBarro with the switch back to the inside. He'll have a
dive
look
up
here.
The inside. Well, maybe a little bit of contact, but Anthony DeBarro not willing to give it up. The two teammates come together, and Greg Evans takes the lead away on lap 166. What a move by the 46 car.
Yeah, that's how you throw a race away as a team. And I can imagine that. Well, actually, I think one of these two guys is the owner. I think Cohen's the team owner. But
Oh, DeBarro is not done, and he's not satisfied still being in second. He might lay the bumper to the 46, but he slides at the exit of 2.
Yeah, he might have burned up the stuff a little bit too much for now. I can imagine the tire's a little bit hot after that. But Greg Evans waiting patiently, waiting for a moment to strike, took the opportunity when it presented itself, and now he's the leader of this race. This is the best position he's been in all night.
He is the past champion, the first champion of the Fuel Cup Series, and the 27 lays the bumper to him in turn 2. He is hungry for another win. Slide out of turn 2, contact, 3 wide for the lead again.
Oh, it's going to get ugly here. It's going to get really ugly
He turns under the 21. They
there
turn him.
Go.
The 27 spins in turn 4. And caution is out for the 6th time tonight. And the 3 leaders come together, and there is carnage. Oh boy. Holy cow. Well, I told you at the beginning of the show that rivalries may end here and they may start here. As we head to Talladega next week, things could get interesting.
This is why this is almost significantly better track to have for race before the chase than
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, yeah.
I mean, look at this. The 27 lays the bumper to the 46. And here comes the 21, splits him 3 wide on the bottom, drives off in here, and the 46 gets in and puts the bumper back to him and turns him around. What a chaotic moment.
I love the fact that we can go back and get a replay of that. You can see, I can see Evans planning. He backs off into the corner with the intent of not slowing down. And punted the 21 into the 27.
Yeah, and my thought on this is the 21 did nothing wrong in this whole deal. My thought is this is more an attack on the team. Yeah. Because the 27 was rooting him up out of the way, and I don't think Greg Evans appreciated that.
Yeah, you see him give him the door there, and then decided, I can do two birds with one
I
stone.
will give him credit how calculated that move was. He did a great job. If you want to wreck somebody, that's exactly how you do it. Everyone's got to go to the Greg Evans School of Wrecking People.
That was very calculated in about 5 seconds, because I don't know if he was planning on doing this.
It was just
but
so well thought out, and it worked. There's going to certainly be some discussion post-race. Wow, look at that.
That's probably the best. I mean, I guess it would have been better if he had the 21 spin, too. I think he's hoping for that. But
well, not quite.
Got the more
unfortunately, after the pit sequence, we have the 21 still out on the racetrack because
2 tires.
2 tires stopped for the 21. What are your thoughts on that?
That's what I've been screaming at some of these guys to do all season, even in the Outsiders League too, is that, especially at these short tracks, the track position is so important. I'm really, really surprised that not many people decide to take 2 tires. I mean, obviously you want the freshest tires you can get. But I mean, really, definitely the left sides matter, but you really need the rights a lot more. So if anything, just take 2 tires and take that track position. And so now Evans is going to be starting on the outside here. He's going to have to work. Actually, he's got Brandon Key and Thomas Bressingham behind. Actually, where on earth did Key come from?
I don't know where Brandon Key came from because I thought he took 4 tires, and he did. Just a really good pit stop for the 22.
Interesting.
And
I'm curious on how he got past Bressing and Ward.
I don't know.
I'm guessing something probably happened behind this and we didn't know.
Well, let me tell you something. Anthony DeMauro is in 8th. That's not far enough to bury him, Finian.
No, I think a few cautions and some strategy, he might be able to get him to the back up there. He's one of the fastest guys, if not the fastest guy on the track.
He's led 136 laps tonight, and you're telling me he's not going to come back to the front? He's going to charge back up to the front, and if he gets to the 46, I don't think the 46 is going to make it to the end of the race.
If we go green all the way to the end, I think he might get to 3rd. I don't think he'll get up to the leaders. But, if we do get a caution here and there, I think he might be able to do it.
So it's so important for Nick Cohan to get a good restart here, though, because he does have 2 tires, which is better than none. But I still think the 4 tires will certainly be at least worth something. Yeah. And the 46 and 21 were so close before. I think Greg Evans has the advantage here, but Cohan's got to get a perfect restart.
I would say even beforehand, I think for most of this race, I think Evans has been faster than Cohan. So Cohan's now at an even bigger deficit with the tires he's got. So yeah, like you said, he's got to hope to get a good enough restart. Maybe try to bring that 22 into the picture as well to get alongside the 46s, and he can try to drive off here. As we're under 30 laps to go left in this race.
Dramatic night for sure. 6 cautions so far. 10 lead changes at the front of the field. The most recent one, the 46, turning the 21 and 27. The 2 teammates colliding several times. They actually took themselves out of the lead, and that's what let the 46 on by. Then there was carnage off into turn number 3, which led to the 46 taking the lead away. Some pit stop strategy for the 21 of Cohan. 2 tires on him. 4 tires for everyone behind him. Who's going to win this race? We're going to have 27 laps to go. Cohan, the control car for the restart. Evans on the outside lane with 2 more tires. Green flag back in the air.
Wow. And Cohan backed it down quite a bit there. You see everyone stacked up on this
Whoa,
restart.
DeBarro swings way low down into turn 1, 3 wide.
And that's why he backed everyone up, so DeBarro can get a good enough jump, and DeBarro back into 4th by turn 2.
What a move for the 27. Behind him, a big carnage out of turn 2. If we make it out of here without a crash, I'll be amazed. It looks like we will. Wow, great job by everybody there. But the drama at the front of the field will continue. Cohan has the lead, and Evans is right behind him.
You know, Evans has to do this quickly because he's got a 27 car approaching him who probably wants his head. So he needs to get this lead very quickly. He's also got the 24 Bressie here. And Bressie might try something because I imagine he's been waiting for his win. His first win in this series for quite a while.
Bressie is headhunting right now. He wants to win a race, but so does the 46.
Oh, he's got the
25 laps to go. Bressie down the inside for second. And this is not time that the 46 has to waste. He needs to go get that 21 before the lead is too great to overcome the tire difference.
Yeah, you see him try to pinch that 24 to the inside to keep him down there.
Oh, a slip up the racetrack for the 24. Force the 46 out wide. Here comes DeBarro putting pressure for third now.
Yeah, but he got clear out of Thomas Bressie. Now going to set his sights back on the 21, so he's got to make quick work here.
I think Greg Evans is going to be looking in that mirror when he sees the 27 car get clear of the 24.
And now he's got to hope that Bressie's a friend and keeps the 27 held up. If I was Bressie, I'll let the 27 on by.
Well, we'll see if the bow ties are strong enough of a connection between the two to keep him back. And DeBarro real slow out of turn 4. Oh, Key slides out of turn 4.
Can he
Through
save
the grass. He will save it and will continue, but will lose all the track position.
Good save by the 22.
All right, last time by, Greg Evans was significantly faster than Nick Cohan. We're going to have a battle for the lead on our hands. Greg Evans took the lead away in dramatic fashion about 15 laps ago, and he's going to try to do it again. This has been a wild race tonight. And in the late stages, remember, Nick Cohan's only win came at the expense of this guy right here. Remember, back to Darlington Finian. So there might still be no love lost between these two. It was at Darlington Speedway with 20 laps to go. The 21 turned the 46. Maybe it's time for a little bit of a favor here. I think Nick Cohan made a deposit, and I think Greg Evans is about to make a withdrawal here shortly.
Yeah, well, I would argue.
Oh, no! Sideways down the back straight. He saves it, but will probably lose a spot to the 24. And here comes Bressie with an opportunity to drive up there and take the lead away.
Yeah, I think he just threw away his chances there. You see him trying to pinch the 24 and exit, can't get it done. Bressie going to be clear.
No, if I'm Greg Evans, I'm going to calm down for a second and get my wheels back under me. Cool those tires down because you have to go do a job, and you're not going to do it by driving any harder.
Well, I think the bar is going to make sure he doesn't do his job because he's found the 46.
Oh, the 24 sliding out of turn 4. He bobbles big time. But he saves it and will continue. But here comes Evans back to the inside, and DeBarro looking high. And Cohan loving what he sees in the mirror right now. Oh boy. Here they come.
It's going to not end well for someone here.
27 driving off deep into the corner. Will lay the bumper to the 46 again.
He's sending some messages to the 46. There he goes to the inside.
19 laps to go. 18 now. The 27 crosses over. Greg Evans puts the bumper to him again. Sends him up the racetrack.
Oh boy.
Oh, these two are not happy with each other at all. Are we done with this yet? Because I think Greg Evans, he's going to drive in there deep again, but can't make the corner.
Yeah, I think.
Well, now it's Bressie's turn to go up there and try to run Cohan down.
I think also Evans has really damaged his car up quite a bit. I don't think he can really do much more now.
Well, he certainly sent his message back. I think received. And it's an expletive. And now the 27 trying to get by the 24 car. 17 laps to go, make it 16 as Cohan crosses the line. 1.2 back to this group of cars.
Yeah, I think that slip up by Evans out of turn 2 that put him pretty much back here. I think that's going to be the really costly mistake here. Had a chance of getting Cohan here, but Cohan now driving off into the sunset.
Now Bressie and DeBarro fighting for second. How much is Bressie willing to defend from this 27? And will it bring the 46 back into the fight? It looks like it may.
Looks like the 24 is holding up both these guys. Here comes the bar out to the inside.
He's going to drive off into the corner. Bressie leaves in space. Door to door at the exit of turn 2.
Gives him enough space, so they're still going to fight side by side here. Bressie putting up a fight here.
And a slip for the 27. Door slams the 24 out of turn 4, and a slide for DeBarro. Here comes Evans now again.
It looks like Bressie's sending a message.
He turned him! No. They turned him in turn 2. They collide. No, what was that all about?
That was a save, and how about Alec Martinez going to whiz through there?
Through for second.
Where did he come from? Second in one turn there, and we're not done yet.
Oh, here it is! They turned him! Crash out of turn 4! No! Oh, they saved it again! I can't believe it! I can't believe it! They saved it again!
Oh, man.
Oh my goodness! 3 wide out of turn 2.
Oh.
And now the 46 gets door slammed again, and those 2 cars are out of the race for the win, but Martinez is in 2nd place!
That was the cleanest dump I've ever seen.
I can't believe
it
that
happened
happened.
Twice.
What an incredible turn of events, but it's still Cohan by 2.3 out front. Martinez is in 2nd, but I don't think we can pull away from these 2, Finian. But DeBarro, he's been using the bumper freely tonight, and he's getting served the payback back.
Yeah, I don't know if Evans is going to really be able to catch up to the 27. He's got some significant damage.
Both
to
these
his
cars.
Oh,
no!
DeBarro
He spins out of turn 4. Do we stay green? We will.
Oh, he's lucky. That would have ruined Cohen's chances at a win here. And we'll get up to speed here.
This has just not been going the 27's way. But again, I mean, he pretty much crashed the 24 car, and Bresci wasn't able to pay him back, so the 46 did. But what an incredible race for 3rd. This is Hayden Pistorius and Jeff Ward.
How about Hayden Pistorius, too? Here in the later going, he's battling for 3rd now with Jeff Ward and putting up a very solid fight here.
So Ward is going to hang on for it for now. Bresci and George continue a fight for 5th place, but Alec Martinez, last time by, was quicker than Nick Cohan. He doesn't have quite enough time to get there, but if Nick Cohan starts to drop off, then who knows? Maybe the 54 could steal a win at a track that he said he absolutely cannot stand.
Yeah, and also the fact that I'm annoyed, too, with the fact dude's running in 2nd was planning not even showing up tonight. Whoa, boy!
The 9 car way up on the inside of the 24.
These 2 found each other yet again. They've made some contact tonight.
Yeah, I don't think these 2 are really thrilled with each other either.
I think Bresci's just trying to hang on here for some solid spots, but Thomas Shorts wants those spots.
Oh, man. Everyone building up the pressure for the final 2 races in the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series regular season. Talladega in 2 weeks, and then USA International, where we're certainly going to see some of this rehash again at the half-mile track.
Yeah, we might see Talladega, too.
Fair enough.
That'll be a first.
7 laps to go for Nick Cohan. Alec Martinez sits 2nd with Jeff Ward right behind him. Maybe a podium possible for the 54 after he almost didn't even drive this or start this race.
Yeah, I think he might have shot a podium here. I think Jeff Ward's significantly faster than him at the moment. Ward might be able to muscle his way on by.
It's got tight out of turn 4 again, the 9 and 24. The 9 car is another car that's been quite freely using that front bumper tonight. He drives deep on Bresci again.
Oh, and he scared Bresci out of it. Bresci went up the hill. They're still side by side off the corner, loose for both of them.
Driving off into 3, the 9 car went way deep into turn 3, but he manages to hang on for 2nd place. Jeff Ward trying to get a contact.
Oh,
Bresci in the fence. Oh, I don't think we're done yet.
And here
He's
we
going to
go.
drive in, and there we go.
There it is.
Caution out. 5 laps to go, and we'll have a green-white checker.
No caution.
No caution? How?
The race control is blind. We got a car smoking and a car half spun.
We should have had about 5 cautions. We stayed green. Unbelievably, we stayed green. I can't believe this. I don't even understand what's going on anymore, Vinny, but this has been wild. There's smoke everywhere. As Martinez is still riding in 2nd and has actually caught Nick Cohan some more, but it's not going to be enough. 3 laps to go. Up the racetrack goes the 89, trying to get by the 54 for 2nd.
To the inside of the 89, we'll have a look here. We'll see if Martinez tries to fight for it.
I can't believe that wasn't a caution. I was so certain.
Oh boy!
Ward slides out of turn 2.
Oil being left out on the track.
There's a lot of oil on the racetrack right now.
Someone called Dana Patrick.
2 laps to go for Nick Cohan. A 2-tire strategy. Everyone, chaotic energy circulating around this racetrack faster than the cars are. I just have no words for the last 50 laps of this race. It has delved into pure chaos. There's Casey Lakatos in the background, who's worked his way into 6th place after all this.
Yeah, and out of the final corner they go. White flag in the air. We're finishing this thing.
Wow, one more time around for Nick Cohan. The teammates got together earlier in the race. It almost gave it up to the 46 of Greg Evans. Carnage ensued. The 27 spun. He ended up crashing later. He'll come home in about 15th or 14th. But Nick Cohan, the Dizzy Motorsports driver, a win at Darlington and a win at Richmond. Nick Cohan goes to victory lane at Richmond.
And Alec Martinez is going to hold off Jeff Ward for 2nd, Ward in 3rd, Hayden Pistorius, great finish for him in 4th. Greg Evans through the car, and she's been through in 5th. Casey Lakatos in 6th,
they
and
crashed.
still crashing at the line.
Start-finish line crash for Brandon Key, Radojcic, and more. Casey Shue rounds out the top 10. Wasn't he crashed earlier tonight, too? But, oh my goodness. And I don't think we're quite done watching people go for loops and spins and crashes yet.
Is he going to go for it?
I think everyone who was angry has gotten their... Oh, boy.
Stay out.
Greg Evans is done and off the racetrack, but Nick Cohan, second win of the season for the 21, the CJAutoPA.com Toyota Camry for Dizzy Motorsports. Victorious after a chaotic and wild last 50 laps. Speechless after that one. That was one of the most entertaining races I think we've ever seen. I cannot believe the crash with Pressy and George was not a caution.
Yeah, I was amazed at that because Pressy did a full loop. And somehow that did not bring out a caution. So I am surprised by iRacing's side of things.
I was kind of hoping it would cause a caution just to mix things up that much more.
I kind of wanted a caution because it's just going to devolve into absolute chaos.
So Cohan motor blown on that 21, and that'll be the end of the burnout for the 21. We're going to be right back to talk to your winner and several others. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be a lengthy interview process. We've got a lot of people to talk to. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
To get the best result, it's all about ambition, hard work, and doing the right things right. In 1982, two Dutch brothers invented an automatic way to time RC races. The system of the company, called AMBIT, was quickly adopted by pro racing series like NASCAR and IndyCar. Automated timing for mass participation sport events was also invented in the Netherlands by Champion Chip in the early 90s, giving athletes a personal chip time of their performance. In 2008, the two companies joined forces, and MyLapse Sports Timing was born. We never stop innovating, with state-of-the-art timing systems and digital services to enhance the event experience. With our X2 platform, we bring motorsports timing to a whole new level with two-way communication. Our event app and photo video create the ultimate event experience for athletes and fans with live data and personal content like photos and videos. SpeedHive provides a pro-level racing experience for amateur and club events by analyzing personal data. We capture performances of over 20 million racers and athletes every year and use live data to spark emotions. MyLapse. Experience progress.
Welcome back live to SimTV. A chaotic last 50 laps for a lot of drivers, including the 14th place finisher, Thomas Bressy, driving the number 24 Thrustmaster car tonight. Obviously, the discussion, the physical discussion between you and the 9 car, some frustrations there, but a good run that ends up kind of not being a great run at the end. So just walk us through the incident there with the 9 and your race as a whole.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of started with the 27 just driving over me because apparently I hit him or something. I don't know what that was about, but and then that put me in a hole and tore the left front off, and the car was down on power a little bit at that point. And then I was going to get back to him, and then Greg took care of that, I guess. And then I don't know what the 9's deal was. I guess kind of the same thing. I don't mind hard racing and stuff, but he was, you're going to left rear me on the straightaway. There's people here I haven't done anything to, and they're some of those people, so I don't expect to be just plowed over. I don't care if it's a short track in the closing laps or not. If I haven't done something to you, I expect to be raced cleanly. But if you're just going to pile over me, I'm not. I was already pretty pissed after the thing with the 27, and then it's hard racing's one thing, but I don't tolerate cheap shots. So I'm I've sat and played nice for a while, so I gave it back. But I don't know. I guess I'll get yelled at again by Anthony, even though he wants to play batter for Nick after Sonoma and saying that that was my fault and everything. So even though it didn't get ruled that way, but um, I guess I have that's my poor racecraft, as he put it, and my lack of patience. So I felt like I've been pretty patient, not cleaning somebody out when I should have cleaned out a bunch of people already. But had a good car, had a top five car, I think fourth or fifth probably. And then once the guys started going at it for the lead, I thought maybe we had a shot at it, and then we got yeah. So um, could have gone better, but maybe yeah, I don't know. Just way it goes sometimes.
As we head to Talladega and USA Speedway in the next couple weeks, how much of this do you think will carry over? And in your mind, is it over?
I always tell people that if they want to continue something, it's the ball's always in their court. But if they want to play ball, I'll play ball. But I got better things to worry about in the coming weeks. I got the playoffs I'm looking forward to. I'm sure we'll be in on points if we don't win next week or the week after, whatever it is. But that's for them to decide.
All right, Thomas Bressi, disappointing 14th after a strong run tonight. Contact with the 9 puts him out of the race. Thomas, thanks for talking to us. We'll see you later.
Yep. See you guys.
Move on now to, I believe we have our third place finisher waiting in the wings. That will be the driver of the 89. That's Jeff Ward. Jeff, a really incredibly chaotic last 50 laps or so, but it seems like you missed most of the drama tonight and came home with a solid podium finish in your 89 Ford Mustang. So your thoughts, what'd you see out there? How crazy was it from your perspective, and thoughts after Richmond?
Yeah, that was a wild race. I knew I was in for it about lap 10. It felt like 75% of my force feedback went out. Like I couldn't feel the car sliding, and I almost spun out, at least 3 or 4 times tonight. So I was able to drive through it, and some of those guys had trouble, and we really lucked out. We didn't have a top three car there, so maybe a fifth or sixth place car. But yeah, at the end, the car just came to me. A lot of guys had trouble, and we started battling with the Alex there at the end. If we got by him, maybe I could have got the dick, but probably not. But yeah, we'll take it, man. Top three. Like I said, we just lucked out on this one.
Heading into Talladega next week, do you think all the chaos from the short track tonight will carry over to the super speedway the next round, or do you think it'll probably be over for most people?
Um, I saw some guys getting pretty wild out there with each other, so never know. Talladega, it's one of them ones where anything can happen, and there'll probably be a big one. So you just got to hope you get lucky there.
All right, Jeff Ward, third place tonight. Another strong run for the 89 en route to the Fuel Finals. Jeff, thanks for talking. Congratulations. We'll see you next round.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, next driver up should be Thomas George in the number 9 car tonight. Ended up finishing, I'm trying to look down the order here. Where did you finish? 18th place tonight, Thomas. Some drama out there with the 24, but overall, you had a good run going. So talk to us about that, and then talk to us about the incident with Bressi.
No, it's not a matter of just Bresci, but it's half the damn league doesn't want to give up any spots as soon as they burn their tires off after 10 laps. I did it earlier. I've been racing everybody clean all year and getting run over and calling everybody else's mess. And, I've had my own mistakes with Dover, but, you know, every week I've had a fast car and just getting collected by these guys. So we had another fast one tonight. Long run speed was good. Wasn't a race winning car, but you got these idiots out here that burn their tires off after 10 laps because they want to play, NASCAR Heat 4 or something. The moment they burn their tires, they start pinching you down off the corner. So, and it happened earlier in the race. I raced them the way they were racing me. That's all it came down to. And with Bresci, that's 2 weeks in a row I've raced like that, where he's burned his tires off on the long run and I'm faster and he wants to do that. So nobody wants to give any room. I'll gladly go ahead and just start shoving people out of the way because I'm getting sick of being the nice guy of trying to give everybody room.
So 2019, the new aero package has changed a lot, especially the 1.5 mile racing, but it seems like it's made passing more difficult in general. So do you think that has been a big factor in why it's been so difficult to get by people, or is there something else that's contributing to that?
Oh no, it's definitely the aero package more than anything. I mean, I can't remember ever experiencing aero push at Richmond in my life until this package came out, and it's the package we're going to be racing, so you got to get used to it. But again, that's the problem. I came up in growing up watching, I guess the glory years of NASCAR in the 90s, and they didn't put up with this crap of guys just run like this. If you ran like this, you were going to get put in the wall, or you were going to get taken out, or you're going to get moved. And I've been patient all year long, and I've tried to be nice as much as I can, despite getting screwed over multiple times. But this package is just making everybody think they're Superman for 10 laps, and ain't no different than it was 5 years ago. But this package just makes it even harder now to pass. And once people burn their tires off, they got to start going to these. I won't say what kind of tactics they are, but some really questionable ones. And then they get upset when they get raced hard and they get raced the same way. So that's all right. I mean, I know what I did in Sonoma, and I knowingly did it, and I paid the price on that. But this is getting ridiculous. And if this is how people are going to run race now, I'm just gonna move everybody out of my way from now on because I'm sick of it.
A frustrated Thomas George, 18th place after a really strong run tonight. Thomas, hopefully things turn around for you in the next couple weeks. We'll see you at Talladega.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on now to our second place finisher, Alec Martinez. We didn't think Alec would even start this race tonight, and it wasn't maybe a natural second place, but a chaotic last 50 laps. Alec, how'd you get yourself into P2 and get a solid night out of this?
That's a good freaking question. I don't know. They all just want to take each other out, so I thought I'd capitalize on that one. So I got second at Richmond. I don't even know what to say, really. I'm just kind of shocked at that. I know it's kind of gifted, but still, I don't even know. I hate this track so much, and I stuck here. So, yeah, I don't know, but heck, I'll take it. I don't care. That's a great finish for me here, especially.
Moving on to Talladega in the next round, do you think
why?
it is necessary to win a race to run for the championship here, or do you think you can point your way to a championship?
I think it's necessary to win in the playoffs. I don't know if we have a win and you're in to the next round, but I know I don't know how the points are going to look after this, but I probably gained some. I don't know how if it's going to cushion me because if I probably knowing Talladega and the desperate people that are going to try winning, we're going to have a big wreck. Actually, we're going to have one bigger. We're going to have a few wrecks, so it's going to be Talladega is just going to be probably stupid. Hopefully not, but that's mostly what happens if we have this kind of playoff format. I'm not bashing Will or anything. I just normally what happens, and then I don't know. I definitely don't want Talladega in the schedule. I would usually like one plate track and that's it. But what is what it is. As we go on to USA, I think that might be even more of a more wild card than Talladega, just because USA nobody's really ever driven Cup cars on the track. So I don't know how it's gonna go, but I don't know. Anything can happen. I think we might be locked in going into the chase, but like back to your question though, is just I think winning in the playoffs is definitely going to mean more than winning now. If you don't have margin for error, then you're obviously going to have to win to get in because Talladega can end a lot of playoff hopes, definitely. And even with Talladega, we can have a surprise winner knock out guys that are on the cut line. So it's definitely Talladega is going to be wild. USA might be wild. So we'll just see what happens as the season goes on.
All right, Alec Martinez pulls out a second from somewhere. Martinez in P2. We'll see you later.
Thank you, man.
All right, sorry, Nick, for making you wait so long. We had a couple housekeeping things to get over with first, but
I know there was a lot of entertainment tonight. I know you had to soak it all up.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining night, and not all of it revolved around the 21 team tonight, but there was a couple incidents earlier in the race between you and the 46. Was that part of Darlington still carrying over, or was this all some stuff that just kind of brewed up tonight?
I don't know what. I didn't do anything to the 46 tonight, so I guess it was just payback for Darlington. So I understand and I accept that, because I'm not really happy with how Darlington turned out. But I didn't really, like I said, at Darlington that wasn't intentional. So I understand his frustrations. I knew being here tonight at a short track, I knew I was gonna get my rear bumper beat in by him tonight at some point. But that. I don't know what happened 3 and 4, but I wasn't happy about it. But I wasn't going to hit him because I understand. And Ant tried to clean me out too once, so it was pretty wild up here in the front. But for the most part, kept the car clean. Didn't really hurt the suspension or anything. So just I knew when that caution came out there and Greg had the lead, there was no way I was taking 4 tires and sitting there in second. So I saw a couple of people take 2 tires earlier. Actually, shout out to my teammate Shane for gambling on it earlier on, showing that it worked out pretty well. So thanks to him and all my teammates at Dizzy Motorsports for working together tonight. But we gambled on that. It was 2 tires there, and I didn't want to be anywhere near what I knew was going to be coming there. And, it worked out. Just stayed ahead of all the trouble. Bent fenders and hurt feelings. That's short track racing, I guess, right?
Absolutely. As you have now notched your second win in the series this season, you've actually joined your teammate as the only other driver to win multiple races. Is it pretty much gloves off at this point between you guys? I mean, do you guys give each other space, or are you racing each other just as hard knowing that you're locked into the finals already?
Me and DeBarro?
Yes.
We always race each other hard. We're teammates, but we're constantly racing each other hard, which, is a lot of fun. That's people got to remember. This is just a video game. There's a lot of pissed off people tonight, but this is just a video game, and me and Ann are teammates, but we do like to race and have fun. We're around each other all the time, so there's no sense in just riding along behind each other. So we were racing each other hard, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't happy with the way we were racing there. With about 60 to go there, I wasn't too happy, but luckily we both didn't take each other out. We kept it on the track, and it's going to be a good battle to this rest of the season here, because I know we don't have many races until the playoffs start. And once the playoffs start, there's quite the mix of tracks. There's Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, and a couple tracks in there that I really like. So it's going to be fun. Ant's really fast, and it's going to be hard to beat him. But I'm looking forward to the challenge and most importantly the fun, because we sure had a lot of fun tonight. Besides all the banging and stuff, but it was pretty fun. All
right, Nick Cohan, victorious the second time this season. Darlington and Richmond belong to the 21 team. Nick, thanks for talking. We'll see you at Talladega.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Absolutely. Have a good night. Oh boy, what a night, Finian. Drama sparks.
It's not done yet.
Hurt feelings, we're not done yet.
Yeah.
So, big news already out of the penalty, the hauler already tonight. L4 level penalties, which carries with it a sentence of a 1 week, what's the word I'm looking for?
Race suspension.
1 week race suspension for Casey Shue on lap 152, Greg Evans, and Thomas Bressie, all in that one race. So 3 drivers, all with L4 level penalties. Norm Pelletier picks up an L2 level penalty for 2 cautions, a couple other L1 level penalties for Marshall Stanley, Riley Thompson, and Tyler Hensley for caused cautions. But a dramatic night. I think a lot of this is going to carry over. I think drivers have longer memories than pretty much anybody in existence. I don't think it'll be a big issue at Talladega, but come USA Speedway, when everything's on the line for a bunch of these drivers, I think we're going to see a lot of crazy racing.
Yeah, really interested in seeing when those 3 drivers come back at USA, which is honestly the best place they probably could have come back at with those guys. So they're going to miss Talladega. It's going to be big for Greg Evans and Thomas Bressie, playoff hopefuls. They're going to be missing around, and that's going to put them quite down in the standings. They're going to be a little bit desperate.
Victory lane belongs to Nick Cohan for the second time this season. It's another Dizzy Toyota Camry on top of the board after the night. But chaos and carnage embodies the last 50 laps here at Richmond. In 2 weeks, we head to Talladega Super Speedway to do battle on the 2.66-mile banks out there, restrictor plate racing. Next time we see you on I don't actually know what date it is. Is it the 15th? No, it's the week 22nd. All right, that'll do it for us tonight. Next thing you're going to see is Fuel IndyCar Series action on Thursday night at 9 o'clock p.m. That'll be from the Charlotte Roval. Thanks so much. Have a good night. We'll see you later.